intro.
Y'all couldn't hear me.
Yeah, you muted.
Yeah, I was giving the whole intro to silence for a second. Nonetheless, like that, we're back with another Unpacked presented to you by the To Be Fair Show and
the G Shit Podcast.
It doesn't matter how you feel.
all right, y'all see it. It's gonna be a fun one, an interesting one. There's been a film that has had a bunch of versions of the Black streets talking, from just Black Americans to the diaspora abroad. You know, even some of the Caucasians that might have felt like they was misrepresented as vampires. I don't know, but with that said, we'll have a conversation about just some of the themes that was inside the movie. I think maybe 50%, 75% of the panel has seen it, so we won't necessarily give any spoilers away, but we'll kind of speak about a couple themes that were introduced in the movie, and if it's on code, off code, fair, foul. We're talking about Coogler's representation of Black music and its influences from Africa. We're talking about his representation of Black spirituality and its influences inside Southern spirituality as well. Yeah, it's a lot of interesting conversations. I even seen that it looked like there's some FBA ADOS beef happening. I don't know. Shout out to both Yvette, Tariq. It's a lot going on here. With that said, I love to introduce this fire panel that we have. All the regulars is shaping itself up to be a fun, good show. At the top, talk to him, G.
What's good, everybody? It's G, host of the G Shit Podcast, where we focus on family, friends, finances, freedom, and our future, and fuck everything else. Check it out wherever you get your pods. Just search GSHPOD. Hi.
Beside him, FBA's own, the Discord's favorite. Cash App him, CassiusTrey. Y'all see it. What's going on, Trey?
Oh, I think most favorite might be a word that, you know, not everybody will agree on. Not everyone will agree on that, but, you know, it's fun in there in discussing these topics. Look forward to having more of that discussion live. You know, I'm your self-appointed FBA advocate, so I'm looking forward to engaging with everyone in the chat. You know, keep me honest. If you see something that's on code, speak on it.
Right. Below him, again, Charlotte's favorite, the mayor, some might call him. Black is Gold is the brand. Cash App him, A Black TV. A Black, what's going on?
What's up, everybody? Happy to be back. You know, I think I missed last week. Was out of town, but, you know, ready to tune back in and get it popping with you fellas.
Yeah, and y'all see him, Mr. Host of the To Be Fair Show. What is that? Cash App J Rock 989. Johnny P Caddy. Shout out to Benny the Butcher. Johnny, what's going on?
What's up, family? Glad to be back. Looking forward to a great discussion. It was a great movie. And yeah, well, I'm trying to decide where I land on it. I might need to go see it a second time because it was a lot of.
Oh, you went?
A lot of layers, but yeah, I'm probably gonna go see it a second time this weekend though. But it was a great movie though. So
okay. You ain't leave feeling guilty, did you?
Who, me?
Never mind. Don't worry about it.
I ain't let him in the. I ain't let him in the juke.
Yeah, you didn't.
Bring your white girl.
Okay. No white girl. Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah. All right. So nonetheless, starting off, I can't remember when the NFL draft was. Maybe it started the night that we had Unpacked, and the news was Shador didn't go first round. The next day, you know, news was he didn't go second or third. Damn. He dropped to what, number 144th pick, I want to say. Fifth round, Shador. G sent this in. We'll have a quick little conversation. If the slot was just, was there a reason? Was this just a collusion on a black man and a black father? I'll push play.
Door haters is turning in their mother freaking shoes right now. John Marshall High School today, just as over an hour ago, Shador Sanders already in the community having an impact. Look at what we gonna critique him on now, huh? He wore jewelry. Oh, look, he leaning up on to say he shouldn't have been doing. What we gonna? He holding him mic with his left hand. Look at these kids' faces. Look at them. What else do you notice besides my hairline? Not a single phone in sight besides her. Leaned in, locked in, just wanting to soak up everything that Shador Sanders has to say. But yet somehow, some way, we are finding ways to make him out to be a bad guy. I'm just so confused. Do you know how hard it is to get this level of respect in the inner city? Do you know how hard it is to get a phone out of kids' hands in today's world? Do you? Because this is impressive. A whole room of people locked in, wanting to hear a 5th round pick. Let that sink in. A 5th round pick. Keep hating on Shador, man. It's that time.
All right, fellas. I'll throw it up to y'all. What are y'all thoughts, Shador?
What they got to do with his football grade or like him knowing X's and O's? I mean, like I ain't trying to hate on him, but like you could be a good role model, but that's part of the reason they didn't draft him is because of the publicity that goes along with it. And you act like they didn't draft like black men the first 3 picks, or I don't know how many picks it was till they drafted the white boy, but Cam Ward went number 1. You could even see when Shador, are you trying to rap? And he said, I play football. So I mean, there's a lot of reasons why like he might have failed, other than them just colluding or hating on him because he a black man. Because there's a lot of black dudes that get drafted by the league. Deion Sanders had he put eight different guys in the league outside of his son, so it can't just be Deion.
What is it, Jimmy Horn Jr.? Shout out to the Panthers.
But
might not win a lot, but you know,
yeah. Great story.
My
but
bad.
When it comes to you blowing interviews and then you mad that you're getting drafted low round, that kind of what happened comes with the territory. If you telling people you're not going to play and you don't want to learn the playbook and get mad because they call you out.
He said that. He said, "I don't want to learn the playbook."
Yeah, that was the Giants interview, correct?
The
Giants, the same team that shitted on Saquon. So I mean,
they ain't got nothing to do with him being black. Saquon had bad.
You know what they
had
front
bad
off,
knees.
You know how they front off.
Bad knees
front off is already arrogant. So I can see them being turned off by it. From the marketing standpoint, it's stupid for some of them teams to pass up on him. Like I'll say, my team, the Panthers, like. This dude go sell out whatever stadium that first 4 or 5 games. Like, and I can't remember the last time a rookie came in and changed the whole franchise. Like, the dude go sell tickets, he go sell jerseys, and it's great for publicity. Like, if I'm a good player on the team he coming to, I'm thinking, all right, he about to get us more shine. He about to get us some primetime spots on TV. Like, from the marketing standpoint, to pass up on him over ego or his confidence and shit, it was just stupid. I'm like, and he's not trash. Like that's the even crazy part.
Here goes another part.
I don't believe that.
Hey, hold up, Trey. Here's another angle I heard, which makes a lot of sense when it comes to who his father is, and like if Shador good or bad, like there's already pressure on Deion wanting an NFL job, and like why would you draft this guy? If he does good, he could want you replaced. If he does bad, you could get replaced. And it's a lot of speculation that Deion.
That's not the coaches. That's the coaches' word. That's not the GMs. And
but the coaches have say. And like, why would you big up a guy who could possibly bring in your replacement? Like that's a risky.
Some coaches got say, but the owners are about that cash money. You can't tell me Jerry Jones don't want Deion as a coach. You can't tell me like what Deion's bringing to any team in NFL is the same thing he'd bring to Jackson, the same thing he'd bring for Colorado, because people want to play for him. He got the star power, he got the marketing, your team gonna make millions of dollars. Like,
and that's why I'm a coach. I'm gonna say he got a bad attitude. Don't draft him.
But even beyond the attitude,
got a bad attitude though.
But
I
even
don't
even
think so.
coach, I can see
even
why a
beyond
coach would say
attitude,
that.
though, even beyond the attitude, this ain't the NBA. The NFL don't like niggas shining. They don't like niggas being bigger than the logo, bigger than the team. Like it's all about the shield and shit like that. Like the thing, you know how Cam Newton was deserving of at least of a backup role, but you won't bring Cam Newton in because once you bring him on your roster, it's just attention. It's like, when's Cam gonna play? When's Cam gonna play? This nigga Shador is bringing a whole circus of media with him, and the average team don't really want to fuck with that sort of type of unwarranted attention. Most teams in the NFL, they don't want to be the Dallas Cowboys. They want to fly under the radar, just show up to work, like lunch pail and hat type of attitude, and show up and play on Sundays. They don't want all that circus attention, and that's what, unfortunately, that's what Deion created at Colorado. It's a fucking Showtime program. Like niggas are gonna get that celebrity. And what the last thing I say, this nigga Shador, unfortunately, he not the generational talent. Travis Hunter is. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, Travis Hunter can go dance on stage, be as flamboyant and personality forward as he want to be. Because
have his girlfriend make him stay outside at a club while she's drinking
nice. Because he's undeniably nice. He's the best receiver in the draft. He's the best cornerback in the draft, like unquestionably on both sides. Like, so
he's
I
top
think
I wouldn't say he's the best.
His proximity to Travis Hunter, I think, might have overinflated what he was going to be worth on his own outside of without being Travis Hunter.
What about the fact that he was throwing would Travis Hunter be the same without Shador throwing him the ball?
Yeah, he was the number one recruit coming out of high school, like in the nation. That was the big thing with him going to Jackson State. He didn't play high school ball with Deion.
Yeah. Travis,
anybody could.
So these from what I've heard, these are some of the things that I've heard from a couple different analysts that have broke this down. There is, I guess, when you just look at Shador Sanders and his journey, there's a lot of people that say that, quote unquote, he hasn't been tested. That being from little league to high school to college, he's always played with his dad, and his dad has always kind of like made the situation around him. So they said that there was some question around that. There is the measurable aspect where he's not, to what G said, a generational talent, where Cam Newton, he's 6'5", he runs like a running back and runs through you and can throw the ball 80 yards. Like it's a talent that you can't pass up on. Or, Travis Hunter, he, has a 44-inch vertical and plays both sides of the ball. Then you have the pull and push of attention versus reward and pressure, where some of the people was they felt the way about Deion kind of leveraging that they're not going to take certain interviews, that his son wasn't going to play for certain schools, and maybe he was on like Tamron Hall's show or something like that. So I think that the fact that Deion kind of was pushing him inside a very specific way, in which a lot of the guys didn't feel that his measurables measured up to the push in which he did. That was his own thing. I guess the last thing that I did see was, I ended up going back and trying to look at like a couple earlier scouting, like mock drafts beforehand, in which a lot of them pretty much said that if he didn't get picked 21st by, I forget who that was, they were saying he wasn't going to get picked first round. But yeah, again, a lot of what I did say still does go to the idea of it's not just a talent-based or merit-based decision, because of there is the influence of pops. There is the influence of, the media circus that comes around it. But my only opinion would be that there's always the exception is made if the talent is good enough. LeVar Ball said that Lonzo was better than Steph Curry, that Magic Johnson had AIDS. Like he just went down the entire line of everything. And them niggas still got him, and it was undisputable. Second pick.
Do y'all think Shador better than Bryce Young?
Oh, probably. I hope so. Well, I don't.
No,
I think so.
He wasn't
Yes.
in college. Are we basing it off his college career?
I mean,
Absolutely
wasn't he
not.
70s?
But-
75th
No, man, I'm a hater, so I'm a hater.
Heisman, bro.
I'm a hater. You're right. You're right. I'm a hater.
Bryce Young's resume is like Bryce Young's resume in college is tough to really fuck with.
Yeah, I'm a hater. You're right. I'm a hater.
Wasn't he with Oklahoma? Didn't he have a way better team and system and O-line around him?
Alabama.
But he also played way
yeah.
better teams. He also played way better teams consistently.
Didn't Shooter get sacked a whole bunch?
He played SEC
And he had a-
defenses, man. Bama Bryce was something. Hell, Shador wasn't Bama Bryce.
Yeah,
Bama Bryce
like
was number one, unquestionable.
Bryce Young had like, you know, I would just say if you just compare college career to college career, it's not even really comparable.
Who we talking? Vince Young, Bryce Young.
Oh, Vince Young was that nigga. That's not even.
I'm talking about like whose career was his better? Was it better than Cam? Was it better than
No, Shador don't have no like. That's what I'm saying. Like Shador, to me, I think like a good comp is that Kirk Cousins, Andy Dalton type of comp is what I think Shador like very solid.
And that was the other part that they said is that he's kind of the traditional quarterback that the league has started to move away from. Where even they make the white boys run them. Like they got to be 6'5" and run, you know, a 4.4. You said what?
His ceiling could be like a Drew Brees, but like
they was calling him Joe Burrow.
Absolutely not.
Joe Burrow.
But didn't he have like the highest accuracy over the last so many years, like 76% or something good like that? Doesn't that mean something or not?
I'm gonna throw that to Johnny and G. I ain't the biggest college football nigga.
I mean, it means you good, but it don't mean you necessarily gonna be NFL ready. And it also gotta depend if you throwing 5-yard passes. And
they use that as a knock against him because the bulk of his passes was less than 10 yards.
Is that like the whole West Coast offense shit?
Yeah, so it don't really mean that you're like.
They use it as a knock against him though for not going down the field.
One of the biggest knocks against him was his arm strength. So he wasn't.
But he also didn't throw at the combine either, right? He denied the combine.
Participate in the combine. That's not gonna help your draft stock. Like there's a lot of things other than
he didn't have that. He didn't have that. I want to go out and like kill niggas in the like. He really did have like I got shit made already type of approach versus saying like let me go out here and put up the best performance. Combine, pre-draft, everything. He went into it as if like he already had it in the bag. And like I said, you know, certain niggas can't go into it having it in the bag, but he just wasn't that nigga, unfortunately. Like I said, I think he let his celebrity overinflate what his athleticism and like raw talent would equal at the NFL level. Is he top tier A1 celebrity? He's already, I think, got the third highest selling rookie jersey as a 5th round pick as of right now today, based off of the new picks. So I mean, he's definitely prime time and blockbuster. Like he's an A1 star. But you know, I will say if he's as good as what we hope he is, he got a perfect situation. That quarterback room is trash. Dylan Gabriel was ranked lower than him as a talent coming out. Kirk, what's that nigga name? Joe Flacco. He clearly old as shit. He's not the future. The nigga Pickett is a travelman. He's not the future.
And the thing was, the Browns had him on their radar anyway. Second round.
Yeah,
he was in Colorado.
Sean got his bread. He don't even care about taking another snap. All that guaranteed money. He done.
Hey, what about what they're saying in the chat talking about? Without an offensive line, I know we took a bunch of sacks, and he still had that high percentage. That doesn't count for nothing.
He was in Colorado for 2 years and almost broke every quarterback record there.
Hey, bro, he played under his daddy for like. I get it, but like, so I've never watched Shador and been like, oh my god, we have to draft him. Like, it's still a decision. Like, and there's teams that needed quarterbacks that like he said he didn't necessarily feel comfortable playing with him. He bombed interviews. And the teams that didn't need quarterbacks drafted them. That's not like any collusion. That's just kind of how it shakes out in the end.
The one thing y'all did say,
I don't think this is the craziest like slide that's ever happened in the NFL. I think it just
NFL does have a history of trying to shy away from people that they might consider prima donnas, and I don't think he has that attitude too much. But I know the NFL, if you have too much confidence at all, I mean, y'all may say that wasn't what did him in. But we've seen the NFL have a history. It seems like they like the most well behaved black.
Oh, I think that has it definitely has a part to do with it. Like it's the cost reward of what a team felt like his talent was versus the attention and celebrity that he might bring. Not just him, but his pops as well.
He don't even
they hate
behave
that
badly though. Like he just confident. Like he's not committing no crimes, smacking no women, like doing no drugs. Like
They draft a nigga that's committed homicide.
I'm saying neither was Cam Ward. Neither was Jalen Milrose.
Cam Ward was like a yes sir, no sir, like a good as boy type of dude.
Cam Ward had a better arm than Shedeur, like hands down. Like you watch him throw, it looks better. Like Jalen Milrose, he's a bigger, stronger quarterback. Like,
man, I get
Look,
that.
His confidence didn't match the athleticism, like the talent. Like
there's like you act like people act like he was the perfect can't miss prospect, and that's just not the case.
Cam Newton was cocky than a motherfucker. He still went number one because he's fucking Superman, and he was fucking Cam Newton. It didn't matter how cocky this nigga was. Shedeur just ain't that, unfortunately.
Shout out to Jameis Winston and the
Johnny
crab.
Manziel go.
He slid. Johnny Manziel slid. He was 22,
but he ain't slide like this.
Johnny Manziel worked out though, and like I mean, there were some similarities to Johnny Manziel, but Johnny Manziel.
It's not though, because Johnny Manziel off the field has an infamous off the field, and like he's infamous for being underprepared as a football player, like in his own locker room. He self-admittedly never looked at film, never was in the details, all that type of stuff.
Spotlight is similar, not the person.
He still got. He didn't slide like Shedeur though.
Man, don't disrespect Cam Newton. Cam Newton never won a Super Bowl, but he won an MVP. He took a franchise to the Super Bowl. I'm not even a Panthers guy, but you can't.
I thought you was a Panthers guy. Okay.
Cam Newton is a Hall of Famer. You can't deny his run in Carolina. It's one of the best of his era. You can't deny what he did to the game. He opened up the doors for the Lamar Jacksons and the Jalen Hurts and really all the niggas you see right here today. Like he took the Vic shit to the next level.
I never heard a Cowboy fan sound so articulate.
You a Cowboys fan, big dog?
You know it.
How did I not know? How did I let this slide for so long? Oh my god!
You know it.
All right, so
but the quarterback is trash. I don't know, but I'm a realist Cowboy fan. I don't like our quarterback. I wish they traded nigga 3 seasons ago. Like, so it's not much me cheer about.
Should do it better than Dak.
I wanted the Cowboys to take this nigga. I wanted Jerry Jones to take this nigga. I wanted Jerry to take this nigga, man.
How much Dak? Like, I don't even like the Cowboys. I hate the Cowboys, but to say that Shedeur is better than Dak is kind of wild.
I'd rather have Shedeur.
That y'all crazy, bro.
Trade that.
Cowboys got Shedeur. Dion would come. Everybody would come to Dallas. I become a Dallas fan. Like this should be like
that would be different. But we all know, like the NFL's favorite type of player is one who doesn't have a father there. He got a bunch of he needs NFL. He came from poverty. The NFL wants to play the white savior. We see that, and they can't do that with Dion. So I think there's a component of that makes Shedeur less attractive or less appealing to as a prospect.
You think that matters more than arm strength? Or
if you're like Cam Newton, if he was like Cam Newton, that would trump all that. I feel you. He's not Cam Newton. I'll give you that. But I think that Cam
did also have his dad in his life. His dad was like a preacher, wasn't he?
Yeah, great father. Yeah, his dad wasn't
it like an NCAA violation?
Yeah, ain't got nothing to do with his dad.
I thought his father accepted some money for Cam.
Like it was just like the literal, like it's what they call NIL right now.
That was before NIL. That was booster money. Everybody was doing it. They just.
If you hear any retired NFL or NBA player, they just got the money got the wire.
I'm not disagreeing. Get your money, but I'm saying as far as comparing him to a Deion Sanders, like Deion Sanders isn't taking money under the table.
No, you made the statement that the NFL loves a single parent having.
I got you. I didn't mean that like strictly they have to fit all of those boxes. They like a person that has a little bit of like they need that booster money. They need to take it. Like the NFL is a come up for them. They don't want somebody that could care less. They're straight regardless. Like that type of situation.
I get it. It's the NFL. It's the what they call it, the shield. They put the shield above everything.
The shield.
The NFL are Republicans, you know, they conservative racists, and the NBA they the liberal racists. You know, they put slogans on T-shirts, do performative stuff. You know, they like different kind of niggas. Like Trey said, NFL like
They highlight individual niggas too. They'll put a nigga's face as the brand of the league.
That's a great comparison.
NFL won't do that.
I agree with that. That's a
NBA
great.
niggas be coming from. They got dads and stuff, and NFL.
Oh no, that's how he is now. The NBA is a money sport.
Yeah,
like
no more trench babies.
The trench babies is gone. The amount of money it takes for training.
What sport the trench babies play now?
Football.
A little bit though. Like that, I think that's going to be going in about the next 5 to 7 years, just because of individual athletic training.
So we
the Vampires, they got 4.3 speed. They getting 40-inch verticals now. They got the Marbury package and like they hitting the Berry juke. Yeah, them trainers is changing the game.
That white boy caught that pick six and everything changed, bro. It's been a wrap.
You still ain't no white DBs like that though, right?
Nah, Cooper. The Eagles got one. Cooper DeJean. He white than a motherfucker.
I forgot. That's the one I'm thinking about.
Pick six and shit. Like he.
Cool. No, they gentrifying all the Trent baby sports. You said what?
We can get more black quarterbacks now. I guess they can have some white DBs. I'll take that trade.
Fair enough. But nonetheless, again, G, he's a Cowboys fan, America's team. We'll go to America's president. It is the first 100 days. I think today makes the first 100 days of Trump. I think from CNN to Fox, everybody's been doing their first 100-day review, look back, and kind of reflection on it. I guess I'll ask y'all, was it better or worse than you thought it was going to be? Trump's first 100 days.
Shoot, way better for me. Because we're supposed to be in change. Remember, like the Democrats made it seem like it would be the end of democracy if he got elected.
But just like your personal perception, do you think it was better or worse? Not what like other people thought. Do you think that he's did as much, or he's did more than, or hasn't done enough?
I think he's done what was expected. I think he could have deported more illegals. I think he could have held the employers of illegals more accountable. But you know, I see progress there, and that's cool. I think he's got a lot of the people on the left running scared. A lot of the black gatekeeper class. I'm really happy that he's kind of taking a lot of them out the paint with his Letitia James or whatever, or the Fannie Willis, or the mayor from Chicago. The mayor, I think Brandon Johnson's his name.
What did he do to you said he did what to him?
Man, they're like facing indictments and all that type of stuff. Like the same stuff, like with Letitia James, one of the same charges that she put on Trump as far as him falsifying like loan documents. Like he's found that she did the same thing, and now she's facing charges for the same stuff. And these are people like black representation that don't do anything for black people. So if they are on their heels right now, that's one of my favorite things that's going on right now. Because once we get our misreputation out of the way, that opens the door.
They haven't actually reputation. They've not filed a case against her or anything, is it?
Letitia James is being indicted, yeah, and Brandon Johnson too. Let me find the specifics. I can put it in the chat.
Okay, I was
Letitia
looking up.
James, she's being investigated for.
Yes, it says Watchdog Group from Trump ties demands to state probe into mortgage fraud crisis. Something. My bad. Keep going. I'm gonna keep reading.
I'll say, and then also Brandon Johnson too, because he was one of the main ones that was flooding Chicago with migrants, and he had a lot of black people there talking about we're going to turn the city red. So now they are kind of held at bay, and you know we stopped the flood of migrants over here, which was I think that's good for foundation. Was he bringing the migrants, or was Florida shipping the migrants up to Chicago? He was provisioning. He was making provisions for them. Like he was closing up like black places where black kids were having like after school camps and stuff like that, and repurposing them to house migrants. And was that because that's a right to shelter and right to shelter state? Yeah, I mean that had something to do with it, but the residents of Chicago tried to go and have a city council meeting to have a referendum on whether Chicago is a sanctuary city, and Brandon Johnson's administration actively fought against them being able to change these rules that you're saying are the excuse. So these people
isn't the sanctuary city dealing with crime more than anything? The right to shelter is where you have to actually shelter a person once they're there.
I think you misunderstand them. Like the citizens of the city were fighting against Brandon Johnson, and Brandon Johnson fought against the people of the city. So he wasn't like obligated. He could have listened to the people, but he chose not to. It's not like he had no choice. Like he fought the people trying to prevent him from, like he fought for the migrants to have this stuff against the people who were trying to make it clear that they didn't want the migrants there. So it's not like he did that on behalf of the Democratic Party. Because if you look at the New York Mayor Adams, for example, he fought back, right? And then they put cases on him. And then Trump just recently, his administration.
I thought y'all was dragging Mayor Adams. That's crazy. Y'all talking about him getting cards. Y'all.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm a fan of. I'm not saying I'm a fan of Mayor Adams. All I'm saying is that's
But if you heard any of them speak about it, they tell you that they'll lose federal funding if they don't adhere to the right to shelter law. So then typically whatever they're doing is the cheapest version on the books for them to spend the allotted money that's required for them to at least at minimum house them.
So you don't think
like that they don't really have like an ability to like they can't do it until the law gets changed.
So what was Mayor Adams doing to get punished then, since he's so powerless?
He's getting punished for what? I don't know what that statement.
He was being punished during the Biden administration because he was fighting. He was saying things like New York will never be the same. This crisis is destroying the city. He was trying to push back against them and push people in there. But he was trying to fight for the people.
Do you understand? Well, I don't know. Again, you keep saying the word punished, but he was giving the complaint that he can't do anything. He's been on like the Breakfast Club, and he's kind of spoken about this, where like his hands are tied. He doesn't want to give all this funding and money. This has to happen because of how the laws in 1980 something is written for the whole right to shelter something. Maybe it's like 82 or 87. I can't remember.
You realize that laws can change though, right?
Yes, but like you can't like snap your finger and then the laws change. Like
right,
that was the whole thing with what's the Texas governor. The reason why he sent we've talked about this 1,000 times, but the reason why he sent the migrants up there is that they couldn't do nothing as soon as they touched the soil. Like they had to shelter.
You realize that if you want laws to change, what you do is, yes, you're right. They don't change overnight. I never would imply that they do change overnight. But I think there has to be an effort by the people who are in power to fight against those laws in order for them to change.
Wasn't that what he?
The law is what it is.
But that's what he was doing. Like he literally was going on platforms saying how he didn't want to do this.
Eric Adams, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and he was punished because.
What do you mean by like you keep saying punished? But the thing is that whether he did it or didn't, he couldn't do anything. That's the point.
You know what lawfare is, right? Lawfare is when.
No, what is lawfare?
Lawfare is when they put cases on you because you're a political opponent, and then they have you locked up in court, sort of like how they're trying to put all these cases on Trump, and then because they didn't want him to be able to run for office again, so now Trump he's doing lawfare against his political enemy. Where they basically, if you're an enemy, and then I had the power to put a charge on you, then I'm going to do that. That's called lawfare. So when Eric Adams tried to fight against this migrant crisis, he had to deal with lawfare because he was punished because he went against the Democratic policy position. So I think Eric Adams, Brandon Johnson, instead of going against the Democratic Party position, which he knew would be punished, he stood the party line against the interests of the people there. And then when the people tried to fight
neither one of them could do anything though. That's the point. Like neither one of them did anything.
I don't think they're as powerless as you're making them seem.
You just said that he got punished for doing nothing, and then the other guy just didn't do nothing. Like,
he should have tried then? Q? What are you saying? He should?
No, I'm saying that the end result didn't matter at all because the law you couldn't change it. the law is the reason why the whole thing is, and changing sanctuary city wouldn't have made a difference inside them state.
If there's people that are trying to have a town hall meeting, and you set up a town hall meeting and have a referendum on whether you want your city to be a sanctuary city anymore, and you're Brandon Johnson, you do things like switch the time up, tell people that they can't speak, do everything you can to limit people's ability to speak out against the sanctuary city status, and Brandon Johnson did that himself, then I think there's some accountability that should be on Brandon Johnson for that, you know.
Gotcha. Johnny, talk to us.
Trump doing better, worse, what I expected. I
think
think
that was a hell of a tangent. My bad.
Yeah, I'm trying to bring us back on course a little bit, but I'm gonna say he's probably doing a little bit better than I expected, with the caveat of I didn't really expect him to do too good. So I don't think.
What would you say he's doing better at?
I mean, it's like some of the Doge shit. I think in principle was really good, like government efficiency. I think letting Eli run it was a bad idea, and I think it's kind of got away. But the idea of trying to, find money, I think they could have started with the Pentagon first, and you'd have found a lot more money for the people. But I think that idea is a good one. I think you can do it better. The thing that RFK just did with the banning like the red 40, and like the artificial dyes, kind of for shit like that should have been happening. Where he's gone wrong, or almost kind of like I expected, is the tariffs, the economy. I kind of, was a little worried about his tariff policy coming into it, and it's kind of playing out almost kind of how we saw it going. And it's not as bad as I thought, but it's not really too good.
Gotcha. G, talk to us.
I think the two biggest things he ran on was economy and immigration. So eggs, I don't think, are cheaper. Generally speaking, people are more panicked. Markets are really fucked up right now. So from an economy perspective, not doing that good, in my opinion. From an immigration perspective, I'm not seeing this. I was told that once Trump get in office, it's going to open up all these opportunities that these immigrants were stealing for Black people. I'm not seeing that. So, maybe that's a delayed, lagging sort of thing that's going to come down the line. Maybe they are deporting people, but I don't know if the numbers are really impactful like that. I know they got them jails in El Salvador where they sending niggas and shit like that, but you can't be sending that many niggas to one jail, bro. So, so it's just like, in the grand scheme of things, I think they're trying to market it like media wise, like they're doing a bunch of shit with deporting, but I think given that he ran so heavily on economy and immigration, we a quarter of the way through the year, I was expecting maybe a little bit more on both ends. Pause.
Gotcha. A Black, talk to us.
Yeah, I don't know what the obsession on eggs is. Like, I mean, that wasn't even Trump's fault. That was the avian bird flu that caused a recall that had the price raised, but that ain't really had nothing to do with government. Nobody ain't talking about how gas done dropped so much, but if it went up, they'd be raving about it. I ain't expect nothing to change or not change. I guess in my reality as a Black man, nothing. Our shit gonna be the same. I mean, but as far as this executive orders and things, most have been blocked either by state judges, Supreme Court, Congress. Like, I haven't seen nothing go into effect yet that's made a real change. Everybody's talking about tariffs. That's the trending topic of this election of his campaign this year is tariffs. But even with that, I haven't seen no effect on that. I mean, I sell clothes. I got a manufacturer in China. None of my numbers have changed. So it's like I feel like a lot of stuff be smoke blown by the left. But I haven't seen nothing he's done yet go into effect that's had a major effect. I just hear people talking about what could happen or what will happen. But if people look around at their everyday realities, nothing's really changing. Like Trey started off, niggas not in change. Niggas still got their jobs. Niggas still got opportunities. Niggas can still move.
Niggas can't retire though.
I mean, they couldn't retire with Biden. Retirement and Social Security.
Nah.
Retirement and Social Security been on.
You talking about the stock market?
I'm talking the overall market. Social Security is a whole other conversation.
Yeah,
but
everything is tied with the market. What is that?
Your 401k, all your retirement investments that were in the market, like we're looking way better. We're looking way better top of the year than right now.
That didn't change in 100 days though.
It did a lot though. Like literally,
it changed in a day.
It changes a whole. It changed a ton though. Like
what
literally
has people Liberation Day
in retirement. Yeah, it literally has people.
They could drop that Liberation Day like an album, boy.
Hey. You think they might
retirement?
You think they might be able to make up for that with housing bubble, with houses being like extremely inflated right now? Like you bought a house for like you're an old person, you bought a house for like $100K and now it's worth $700.
Where do you think that's happening?
I exaggerated a lot.
I think you gotta crash.
Them boys with the stock market, the biggest collusion going on right now.
You gotta crash the market in a way and destroy and rebuild and reset things to get our economy. Like everybody was complaining about the economy during Biden, and it's like everybody has amnesia now that Trump is in here. Like he's just made everything worse. But you gotta shake the fucking tree. You gotta reset shit. You gotta go indulge and kind of find fraudulent funds that the Democrats been going off and using all these different aids and nonprofits and all these big checks that they get up in DC for all these jobs that they don't do shit for, and reset shit. And yeah, it's gonna have an initial shock on the market, but it's gonna have an uptick, like it always does. Like when we had the biggest market crash in history, what was that, in the fucking 20s, the Great Depression? You know what happened when that shit was over? Economic boom. Like, so we're not gonna have a Great Depression, obviously, but the market has to go down to go up, and it's gonna go up. Like, so it's just like I don't. And then the other side is trying to like sabotage with the fear mongering and like, but the shit's gonna go up. Like, people just gotta keep your ducks in the row and just wait for it. He only can be in office for 4 years. So
this might be a reach, but if I compare him to what we were doing, like when Biden was in office, it seemed like we were kind of like a free fall. We had, tens of thousands of people pouring over here. They were funding. I mean, we're still funding both wars, but there was like, at least with Ukraine now, we got a mineral deal, and then all the things that I didn't vote for Kamala for. I'm happy that those things aren't happening. I think there's some value in us not having to deal with that.
Fat Boy, shout out Fat Boy. A Discord. Let's use this also as a time to plug the Discord. Discord link is in the description. Again, it's a fun place to kind of have conversations throughout the week. Trey, he is looking for a couple more of the homies to hop into their TBI. Quincy, talk to us, brother. But even more than that, anybody, it is an open chat to where we have, again, a multitude of conversations throughout the week. I think Trey's new favorite word is pushback. So it's a lot of pushback that's happening inside the chat. Come join the conversation and let's have some fun. But Fat Boy, he said the economy, let me make sure I read every single letter this time, every single word this time. The economy ain't going to change in 100 days, but I'm in Memphis. They was getting my bad, MFers, or should I curse this time, Fat Boy?
Nah, you don't
cuss? Okay. All right.
Unless it's
MFers, the F up out of here. All in all, it ain't good or bad, but motherfuckers with 401ks did get hit. You gonna tear that shit down and fix it? Laugh. Shout out Fat Boy. That's the homie.
Fat Boy. That's the only support I get in the chat, man, for the FBA position. So if you're trying to show some love for the FBA and then jump on this, 4-1 what it used to be, help a homie out, then it'll be much appreciated. Where we're not very well represented.
And that was Trey's plea.
Not including John. John just joined, so I don't know what John was saying.
Hey, I'm lineage based, bro. You know my lineage.
Yeah. I mean, I see
you. I guess I don't know. I would say to me, there's a good angle and bad angle that I can kind of take. Just depending, like for me, in the sense of the shakeup that I would love, I think it's good because of Trump has been a bull in the china shop, and there's no more that the Democrats can say we can't do because of like we see what he does when he has power. So there's been times where the Democrats have had House, Senate, and the executive, and they say we still can't do. And though Trump has gotten a lot of things blocked, there is an actual push and an effort to where, like I said, I think that it holds the Democrats' feet to the fire to where you can't run with that exact same excuse. If I was just go by like a lot of the things that he talked about, he didn't end any of those wars on day one. I think the executive order thing has been a bit of chaos just because of like it'll stop funding one day, it'll start it back up, fired, not fired. It's just a lot of chaos. I think a plus has been the push in immigration for sure. Tariffs, I can't really say that tariffs has been positive, and it's been such a pump fake to where I don't know, like it's just like a really interesting thing. You now have Trump's allies, i.e., like the Bezos, the people that were standing on stage with him, they're dropping the whole little, like Amazon's doing like a very specific tariff thing with Amazon, in which the White House and Trump has called an act of political warfare, where I don't know, like it's just a lot going on. But my thing is, I don't know if that's good or bad. It shows that there's a lot of shit happening. And I know that it's at least a new litmus that we can judge American politics by, where you have a person that is at least pushing to get done what they actually want to do and not necessarily giving political lip service. Do I agree or think that the shit is working? Probably not. But I think that it does set a new precedent.
And I'll say my biggest disappointment that I forgot to mention is him doubling down on supporting Israel. I'm out there. During his campaign, he was kind of fronting like he was going to stop that and stop giving them money, and he kind of leaned more into that. He did stop the Ukraine shit, but he's kind of pro-Israel, so that's really my only thing that I really don't like. Everything else, I haven't seen it take major effect yet. I'm not the biggest stock market person, so y'all know better than me, but my money's still the same over here.
Oh yeah, it usually reminded me of something else that I like about the Trump administration is he's good for the delineation movement because he makes a distinction between foundational Black Americans and everybody else that might share our complexion. And our Americanness is emphasized by him. He putting some people in the Hall of Heroes or whatever, and then having they said he was going to cancel Black History, having Black History Party. So he's put attention on Black Americans without emphasizing LGBTQ. Like the Democrats, whenever they talk about Black people, they're going to have to talk about feminism or have some agenda associated to it. So I like that.
What you think about him taking that stuff out that Black Museum though?
What stuff?
Out the Smithsonian, they removing artifacts.
I heard something like that. I think you got to be careful with that because museums change exhibits. There's like a lot of stuff in that exhibit, right? So how did he?
And I've heard they ain't really took nothing out of there yet. That they were saying that they did, but people have been going. And it's still the same. So like I said, a lot of shit be kind of just blowing smoke.
If they got like 1 million artifacts and they remove like 40, the headline will be Trump removes stuff out of Black History Museum because it's divisive. It's like,
yeah, that don't even make sense. For real.
But he'd have to remove the whole museum for it to make a difference because there's enough there to where we know what our impact in America. You know what I mean? I think it's kind of a non-story. I heard about that.
So you don't care.
And he did this one for HBCUs.
Okay.
I don't know exactly what it was.
He rode for your boy Shador too, so I'll give you. Y'all gotta give him.
He said the NFL is dumb for not drafting that man.
Yeah, I give you.
You still mad because of the Super Bowl?
Oh.
Trump been beefing with the NFL for decades.
But they probably wouldn't let him get a team or something like that.
He created his own league back in the early 90s. Y'all remember the USFL?
Oh,
yeah.
That was him?
He was involved with that in part because he couldn't get he's been beefing with the NFL and the owners for a long ass time. In fact, they allege that the motivation for running for president was when he tried, I think, to buy the Bills and they wouldn't let him do it. And he was like, I'm gonna show these niggas and I'm gonna run for president.
Yeah, I also didn't know Trump's ran for president before. He ran as an independent.
Yeah.
In like 2000 or some shit like that.
Trump does kind of have Trump does kind of have a history of going after like FBA ops because even like the whole thing when nobody was defending Michael Jackson, he was talking about my son plays with Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson wouldn't hurt a fly. And when Kamala Harris was trying to frame him, everything like that, and that's going back way back then. So I mean,
I think Michael Jackson was playing at rent at the Trump Hotel.
You say, but he's not going to let that man play
Donald
with
Jr. was playing with Michael Jackson and shit.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. I'm gonna let that one get out.
Man, don't do that, John. Michael Jackson is innocent, bro. Come on, bro.
You can see that alley coming a mile away.
I was hoping. Speaking of that, we're gonna talk about what's on off.
Like to me, I wouldn't want to make a case for him being or not being racist because I mean you can give a bunch of examples on both sides.
They all racist on both sides.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
amen.
Let's kind of go to my point. All right, so nonetheless, the topic of the conversation, Sinners had dropped what 2 years ago? Not 2 years, 2 weeks ago. You said what, Johnny?
We ain't gonna talk about 100 since we're 100 days in. We ain't gonna talk about 100 men versus one gorilla.
I'm gonna throw this alley to Johnny. Johnny, introduce the conversation.
Oh well, I mean it's been out there. I've seen it all on the internet since Sunday. And I believe in man. I believe give me 100 good ones, and I think we take it out one gorilla. I don't even think.
I said Johnny introduced this on Sunday. I was like, Johnny said I'm gonna get this shit off. Go ahead, Johnny.
But the expert said
gorilla take.
The expert said it take 30 to 40 men to take one gorilla. So 100 is
how.
But this is all barehanded though, like no tranquilizers, no guns, no spears.
Man, I believe 100 good men and a plan. It's easy, bro. I don't think you understand how many 100 is.
I don't think you understand the pain threshold of a
right.
gorilla.
Nigga, it's a gorilla, nigga.
I don't think you understand how weak niggas
nigga. Have you been to Asheville? They got a great zoo in North Carolina Zoo. It's one of the best ones on the East Coast, like for real. Like they got a whole Africa continent dedicated. They got a whole shit dedicated to Africa. Gorilla's biggest.
I saw a gorilla get hit by a safari truck and got up like nothing fucking happened. Now, what punch harder than the truck? Like, it's not gonna happen. This nigga's gonna be bopping.
Have you seen gorilla teeth, nigga?
Bro, it's 100 niggas, bro.
But are
they all jumping on them at the same time? That's impossible.
Divided by two, he gonna be able to get two with one hand, crush their skulls like grapes. His feet can crush two more. That's four.
Yeah, if you catch them calls from all angles, like you got.
What did they go do though? Punch him, kick him?
You gotta choke him. You gotta choke him out.
You gotta gouge.
He go bite your shit like a twig. Like these.
That shit sound crazy. Choke him.
Right, like how many niggas is sacrificing themselves to be frontline?
A chimpanzee will get a nigga out of here, let alone a gorilla, nigga. Like chimps will tear nigga limbs off. Like you talking about a gorilla?
Man, just gouge some eyes out.
Them Jokic brothers could be the champ.
What about a blind gorilla? Like if you can gouge a gorilla eyes
The
out,
cold weather whites.
Give me 50 cold weather whites like
Man,
the Jokic
motherfucking
brothers, man. We alright, bro.
goddamn, what's that bitch name in Congo? My name is Amy. That bitch had your ass fucked up, boy. You see what you talking about? Amy had your ass fucked up doing sign language and everything.
Man, nah, man. Give me 100. Give me 100 good men, a cage, and a plan.
My name is Amy. That bitch was doing sign language and everything.
One gorilla already got the strength of 20 men. So
That's why we got 100 men.
I know, but how the numbers, y'all can't even all attack him at once just because of proximity.
You don't think he'll get tired? You don't think the gorilla gonna get?
So Johnny, if you got 100 niggas, who the 10 that's volunteering to go first?
You gotta get some niggas out of death row and let them fight.
Suicide. That's a suicide. Like it ain't even a front line mission. It's a straight suicide mission.
Well, you can find 100.
They don't get tired, man. Have you seen them swing from trees like high up in the air, like?
A gorilla ain't King Kong, man. I think if you can put his face in the ground,
gorilla fast as hell. Like that's the thing too. The gorilla nice. He actually gonna get aerial on a nigga too. All the 100 humans gonna be on the ground. Gorilla gonna stand to the trees, be jumping on niggas like aerial style and shit. Nah, bro.
You can't knock out 20,000 pounds of people.
I don't even. You can't even.
Johnny, let me ask you this one: how many Johnnies would it take?
We talked about this at work. It probably take 160 Johnnies, or maybe 200. We talked about this at work. Depending on who it is, it's like yeah, it can't take
160 Johnnies though.
160 Johnnies in a plan. I'm with it.
I don't even know if 500 dudes could take a gorilla.
I mean, a gorilla like 5'6", like between like 4'11" and like 5'6".
You know how much they weigh, Johnny?
They like 300.
You don't even got the right size. Pause.
Like
your height and your measurables is off, nigga. You talk about baboons or some shit.
Yeah, the silverback like 8-9 feet, look, nigga.
Nah.
When they stand up, they be crouching. Most
nigga, the wingspan alone, nigga. Like you think LeBron got a wingspan, nigga? Like when that gorilla, the reach, nigga, you not even gonna be able to punch this nigga. Gorilla gonna have your ass stiff arm, Heisman mode. You're not gonna be able to reach this nigga forearm.
Man, they say typical heights range from 4'11" to 5'11". That's man height. From 4'11" to 5'11", 300 to 430 pounds. That's not that big,
nigga.
That's not that big. Like, what are we?
They don't even. But they that big without being obese and eating processed food. It's different.
Man, y'all don't believe it, man. Y'all don't believe in humanity.
I saw a gorilla fight Godzilla.
That was King Kong. That's not no gorilla. That's King Kong.
That's who you gonna be fighting.
They gonna be King Kong.
Send your 100 best niggas. They gonna send their best gorilla, and it's gonna be King Kong.
They best gorilla. Nigga, I believe in man, bro. That's what I can't believe. I'm alone on this. I cannot believe
it's 100.
Trey, how many FBAs would it take? Like
55.
You gotta have like 100.
Like straight out of Alabama.
FBA.
FBA. I think that's one thing an African might be able to do better. I seen them with a lion in the stick, and they had them lions tamed and calm and shit, like scared as hell. So I'll give them that credit. Shout out to
the Dr. Doolittle out here.
If anybody can do it, it's the African.
Yeah, I'll agree with that, A Black. They'll fry that motherfucker up, bro.
I believe in man, bro. I don't care what nobody say, man. We got this, bro.
All right.
I'm disappointed. Ain't nobody with me though. That's crazy. Nobody believe in man.
Nah, I ain't rolling. All right, so nonetheless, great time to segue. Sinners. The movie dropped maybe 2 weeks ago, and it's introduced a couple different versions of conversation. I guess to start off on a relevant note, how do y'all feel about is it Ryan Coogler?
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Coogler, he was sitting down with Democracy Now! And he did speak about how he was a foundational Black American and he has roots in America dating back 400 years. I did see that kind of posted in a couple of different spaces. How did y'all feel about that?
I mean, I think it's dope. I mean, he got the same perspective I said. Like he can admit he's an FBA and the significance of it, but he also don't shy away from his African influences in Black Panther and even in this Sinners film. But I think it's dope. He's able to acknowledge both, and that's all I'd be talking about with the whole thing. Like it doesn't have to be a division. Like you can have the influence of Africa and you can still acknowledge your FBA lineage at the same time, and he does that like brilliantly, I think.
Shout out Fat Boy. Fat Boy said FBA specialize in whooping white folks, not gorillas.
I mean, white people are closest to monkeys, so same thing.
Get the Neanderthal.
Anybody else? Ryan Coogler. He sat down. I think in 2 separate interviews he spoke about how he is a foundational Black American.
Man, the biggest win for me, and that is, I do think that he might have overplayed our connection to Africa. We're talking about we're
gonna build. We're gonna build. Just stay on this part.
Well, the short answer to that is that for a long time, people say things like FBA is just a bunch of people online or other stuff, and that was the narrative. But now we have the most popular movie in the country, maybe in the world, and he is talking about FBA. So if he knows what the FBA is, maybe he knows what a tether is. Where does it end? So I think we can finally end this whole narrative about FBA is only online.
But I think you conflating that somebody can admit that they are a foundational Black American, but also not be a part of the organization or the quote unquote movement that you guys are.
I don't know if I'm making any claim that he's a part of any movement or group. I'm just saying if he's aware of the language of FBA, then what other language is he aware of that is, thrown around in these FBA spaces? Because
you're saying that he's seen somebody be called a tether before.
I'm saying that he is familiar with the language. I don't know if he's probably, if he listens to any of these spaces, because Tariq Nasheed knows a lot of these people in the NFL, a lot of these people in the NBA, a lot of these people who are in Hollywood. Like he rubs shoulders with a lot of these people. So if you know about him, you know about the FBA movement, then you probably know the basics of it, which includes language like tether, and the whole reason we came up with the delineation at all is if you're aware of FBA, you're probably aware of why we came up with it. Like that would be your first question, especially if you're somebody like him who is, he's a researcher, like he's going to find out more about it. And even when he said the word, you could tell that it seemed like he was very hesitant to say it, like it was something new to him that he's just learning. So, I think there's the best is yet to come.
But he also kind of, I think he just kind of stutters as he speaks in general. Like he has like I don't know, like I understand what you're saying because I thought that, but then I watched some more interviews and he kind of like speaks through everything inside. Like, he has like a really strong Cali, like almost quote unquote hood accent. But he also, I don't know, like he sounds like the reformed hood nigga that's trying to do better and make sure he says the right words, but also don't want to fuck up the money. That's what it sounds like to me when I hear him talking.
And I think when he knew the saying FBA could possibly muck up some
accent.
money.
Okay.
Yeah, so he was kind of hold off and hesitant about it, but and I appreciate that he said it. And it's not the first time we've heard it said outside of online. So dang, bro, like it's crazy. Like just over a year ago, that was the first time we were introduced to the term, right? And then now we're seeing that it's outside of online, it's directly saying it. So, man, I think that's pretty quick progress, bro.
Well, I think the FBA conversation has been going on for like 3 years at least, right? That's about as far back as when I look back at it.
When did we do that show? That was about a year and a half ago, right?
Yeah, you knew about it way before then.
But I was introducing you guys to a lot of the concepts of FBA.
Yeah, you're talking about like it's like whenever that episode happened I don't know what episode that was, but it's close to a year now.
That's
not a year.
what I'm saying. I think y'all are more representative of like the collective as far as like it did start out as something that was just online and Twitter Spaces and stuff like that. But then I think through things like when we had that podcast and I introducing y'all to the terms, that was the first step, and now we're seeing the progression of that into Cougar mentioning.
Gotcha. And I guess I'm gonna throw to Johnny out, but I guess the one thing that I would say is that I think when people say FBA is just online, they're typically talking about the idea of actionable items per se. When it comes down to whether it's like legislation, organization of like specific things, that's typically what they're talking about. I think they understand that like actual people in real life know what the term means.
Oh, I heard people say that the term is only used online. That's what I heard. Maybe we heard something different.
Okay.
I think when they like Q saying, it's like people talking about when you talk about the movement, people ask, all right, what's the movement have done? What are the action things? What's the most significant accomplishments of FBA? And then they say it's only people talking online. That's the bulk of this movement. I know that the phrase and the word, the terminology is known outside of it, but when they say like, what is the most significant thing that's happening with FBA? Most of it is the chatter online that they refer to.
Yeah, and I'll say, like the term or like there was ADOS, like I heard before, and then
I heard that.
You get it morphed into Foundational Black American, so it's been out, or the concept of there's a difference between the ones here and the ones that have immigrated over from Africa has been out it's been out for a while, but I think it's just becoming more mainstream over the last year. And I think Coogler doing the interview and saying what he said on this movie is just like the ultimate like sign or indicator.
I've read about it in books older than me. I think it like I said, I think it's just become rebirthed and maybe even rebranded in a way, but it's been around for like
the concept of it's been around for more than a year for sure. Now like this new it feel like the movement has been rejuvenated. It's been more people hopping on and talking about it. I feel like it's been taken more seriously this time around than maybe times in the past, but it's not my first time hearing the concept for sure.
So y'all are saying the delineation movement is old, right? Y'all are just saying the term FBA you've heard.
Or the designation like ADOS and like the freedmen and like I think Parallel said it here.
Like the concept of speaking about the specific group.
I didn't realize. Maybe time flies. I'm more than familiar that the delineation movement had been.
Well, now you just.
I thought it was pretty fresh.
We
were talking about
like you framing it inside delineation. Like I think they're just saying naming this specific group.
Oh,
like having a name for this specific group.
I got you. I had no idea when y'all said when not y'all. Be careful. When people said that FBA was only online, I had no idea that they meant that only the actions were. It kind of feels that the goalpost is being pushed now because now that we can't say that it's only mentioned online, now we can say, well, only the tangibles are online. And then after we get some tangibles, then I wonder what we're going to say then. But
when people present that argument, what do they usually follow it up with? What do they ask about? Do they ask like did legislation get passed or anything like that, or do they just be like it just exists in the ether in the iCloud?
They usually follow up by accusing FBAs of like hating Africa or having some sort of self-hate or something along those lines.
So they just kind of just be saying shit. They don't really substantiate it with anything. So anytime you've heard anybody say it, they're just saying it exists in the iCloud, and then they say and they hate Africans and shit like that.
Yeah, usually when I hear people say it's online, those are the same people that say FBA is a hate group and stuff like that.
So, okay.
From my
all right, G, talk to us.
Man, I ain't seen the movie, so I ain't really got too much.
Oh no, this is going with the statement of Coogler mentioning during his press run FBA.
Yeah, I don't have a comment.
Okay. All right. So again, Johnny brought up the term, and somebody dropped into the Discord a quick little commentary from our resident ADOS members. Shout out to Yvette Carnell. She said, Kugler said FBA. Now I understand everything that's wrong with this movie and why. It finally makes sense. So relieved that this weird ahistorical Africans in America and Chinese were our friends movie isn't linked to ADOS. I think that she also said, let me see if I can find it. Yeah, all by design. Both political parties love a pimp who shall not be named because he doesn't do any political work and tells his supporters to vote the couch. Nobody's scared of Twitter spaces where people rant and fight. Fellas, what are y'all thoughts? Again, the movie seems that with him mentioning ADOS, it has sparked some internal freedman beef, maybe.
Man, we've been not rocking with Yvette Carnell ever since she started talking about this is a group and instead of a lineage and talking about I'm the mama of the group and then infusing like this LGBTQ stuff into it and telling people to vote Democrat. ADOS stands for American Democrats of Slavery or whatever. And I don't even like the name, bro. Like maybe
when you say she infused LGBTQ into it, what does that mean?
I've seen her speak on those issues in a way that like tries to include it like some sort of advocacy.
So she's saying that the LGBTQ is a part of our lineage. If you get that, you get reparations.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I just heard her have some type of LGBTQ advocacy. She didn't say anything like what you're just saying. Nah, she's just spoken up for.
I think
her what do they call it? Her
never mind. That was the after show. I'm gonna leave that alone. But FBA, is it like against LGBTQ?
We're not against LGBTQ. Like Marcel Dixon is one of the main guys that is a reparationist. I think the main thing we're against is you conflating the struggles of Black Americans with the struggles of the rainbow community and using that to kind of like Jasmine Crockett does. Where
is that what Yvette Carnell was doing?
I have to find the specific quote, man. I don't want to misquote her, but she did. She was.
So are you saying that you don't like her because she's LGBTQ?
No, I don't like.
She doesn't advocate for reparations to go to LGBTQ people just because they're LGBTQ, right?
If we talking about FBA business, I'm not trying to talk about LGBTQ business in no way, shape, or fashion. I don't even want to hear that topic at all. It don't got nothing to do with it. If you want to advocate for ADOS, advocate for ADOS. If you want to go advocate for that group, then go over to GLAD or whatever that organization is, bro. We focused over here.
Okay, so she can't like one day advocate there and then the next day advocate.
No. Okay. Not if you're supposed to be the leader of a political organization that serves Black Americans. If we want to have somebody who one day advocates for this and one day advocates for Black people, we could just stick with the Democratic Party. Except they would only advocate for LGBTQ mostly, but you get what I'm saying.
Maybe. So don't. I got you.
I didn't say don't be gay. I hope that's not.
Yeah. You didn't say don't be gay. Don't be gay and advocate for like your representation, and also want to advocate for being Black.
Keep your bedroom business in the business. We talk about. Keep your bedroom business in the bedroom. Right now, we're talking about reparation and FBA advocacy.
I didn't know that was like a big part of her platform.
It don't have to be a big part of her platform. Once you start seeing a part of somebody. Well, I don't want to hear nobody talk about that at all, bro.
So she can't. All right.
No,
but could like a straight? It doesn't matter because I don't even care about this argument. But all right.
I don't understand what's so confusing. You don't think
I'm not confused at all. I think it's just funny.
You don't think if we have a person that represents, supposed to be an advocate for Black Americans?
I'm saying I wouldn't throw away an advocate for reparations just because she's gay. I don't know.
I didn't say just because she's gay. You
said that like she doesn't do it a lot, but like sometimes she, I guess, speak about being gay. I don't know.
Advocate for.
Okay, so like she spends her time advocating for being gay.
basically like she conflating the struggles and like trying to equate the LGBT struggle to the black struggle and the reparation struggle, and that was kind of a lot of the issues where it felt like she was maybe projecting her personal life into the larger issue, you know.
Okay, so was she doing like the thing where she was acting as if being gay is comparable to being black? Is that what you're saying?
I think initially she started on the right path, but then a lot of the online attacks of, you know, you're a lesbian and all of the stuff made her start leaning more into the LGBT advocacy, and that kind of turned off a lot of people. Also, when you're talking about the lineage base, you know, she's very fair skinned, so there was questions about her own lineage, and if there was DNA, would she be more black than white? But
shit.
I also can like separate her issues from that message in that tweet, which is true. Which I guess she's talking about Tariq being divisive, being this pimp, kind of being this con man right now, and at the same time not really making any major political moves, but always kind of the forefront of the conversation. And you know, this kind of seems like his latest hustle right now, and his latest claim to fame, which is kind of being this unofficial FBA spokesperson. So I think two things can be true. I think, you know, Yvette got her issues, and I think, you know, Tariq got his issues. I think he's popularized the FBA movement, but I also think if they want to take it serious, they need to kind of silence him at this point. I mean, he's done his part of kind of shining a light on what it is and what it's about. But I also think he's dangerous to the movement because I don't think he's a real serious person. I think he's more about his money, his ego, and his kind of own self-aggrandizement, you know?
So what's the big difference between the ADOS and the FBA movement? It seems like it describes the same group. I know I've previously heard that ADOS has introduced legislation, FBA like that. This is where like I hear like that whole FBA is online and ADOS does legislation thing. What is the general difference between the two?
Are you asking for the crowd or are you asking for yourself? I think you know the answer.
Well, I don't personally really know the difference. I think they both terms that describe the same people.
You're not going to be described by this. Surprised by this answer at all. That's why I'm pretty sure you know it. FBA is a lineage. ADOS is a group. ADOS has chapters. ADOS has leaders.
Does it also speak to like does it describe? So American Descendants of Slavery doesn't describe a group.
It describes a group of people. Yes, it does describe them. But
so is it a group and a organization or just organization?
It is both. It is an organization that advocates for a lineage. FBA is just a lineage. That's the difference.
But if we're talking about like when it's speaking about lineage is describing the exact same thing. So these are like semantical terms in general. When we take away the organization part.
If you take away the organization part, then there is no difference. But the point is that one's an organization and one's not.
Okay.
That's the difference. I don't know.
And so, is there? Well, we'll have to go down the FBA wormhole. But you, in essence, you're saying the distinction is the fact that ADOS comes with it's like the levy of like Black Lives Matter, the movement, Black Lives Matter, the organization, in comparison to just fighting for Black lives in general. I understand the distinction you're making. Shout out Fat Boy. Fat Boy's in the chat. He said, putting reparations in the national lexicon, creating a museum, reparations rally, connecting thousands of Black Americans. Shit just ain't online.
And why would we silence a man that's doing all that? Like, he's probably the biggest advocate, the most vocal advocate, and he's making progress. So if you are gaining momentum, I don't know why you would try to silence that person unless you don't want to see the momentum continue because you're a Pan-Africanist.
Gotcha. All right. So I guess I was gonna follow up. Do y'all fuck with Yvette Carnell? But it seems kind of we have answered
Oh, they
that
call her
question.
they call her Strappy, by the way. That's how she known in the FBA community.
Strappy.
That's
Yeah.
unnecessary.
All right. All right. So nonetheless, we'll kind of continue moving on. I would introduce this next concept, which will eventually lead us down the line of the full conversation. What are your thoughts on again, Ryan Coogler? He did speak in multiple interviews. He spoke the words FBA, Foundation of Black American. There was the other part where there's a lot of ADOS, there's a lot of FBA people that are avidly against the film as well, though, where he does draw a lot of connections to the influence of African, or just to Africa when it comes down to Black American music and Black American spirituality. There's multiple references on the spirituality front, multiple references on the musical front. I think that even the twins are based off of like a Euro. How you say it? Yoruba.
Yoruba
Yeah,
twin.
yeah, the Yoruba twins. And yeah, I think Michael B. Jordan was speaking on the carpet about how I don't know, he got a Yoruba name or some shit like that. I don't know what is y'all thoughts on the blend of him introducing in the film the influence of Africa's impact on Black American history, Black American spirituality, Black American music.
Can I start? Because I think I'm gonna be like the most
Okay.
kind of. I mean, I think it was a fair representation to some of the origins, and I think they did a good enough job of showing the American spin on it too. And I even think they went as far as showing how like some of it even gets culturally appropriated and some of the dangers of that. So I think it now, I ain't the most, history, knowledgeable as far as the history, but for me, just a, kind of casual fan, it seems like it was a very accurate representation of the evolution of it, per se.
Got it.
Yeah, man. I think he really hit it on the head. Starting in that time era, and with the blues and them not being so far removed from slavery, he kind of showed the connection of the plantation songs, and how a lot of that African spirituality was imbued in that, because a lot of it was oppressed when they came over. So it was through song, it was through dance that a lot of them was able to kind of integrate a lot of their African culture into things that eventually transmuted into the blues. And what I like about Ryan Coogler is kind of in all his films, he's kind of been showing the complexity and the layers of Black people. Like, even if you look at the Creed movie, it wasn't just a boxing movie. He went into the inner city of Philadelphia and was kind of showing, the Black struggle of being from Philly, and showing how the Jonathan Major character had so much promise, but end up going to jail, and just showing those different stories that Black men face and deal with. And from Black Panther, it's a fantasy, but he was able to kind of show the dynamic between Killmonger and the Black Panther, and almost how they're two sides of Black people, the Malcolm and Martin of Black people, with Black Panther kind of being traditional and coming from royalty, and Ryan Coogler being neglected and wanting to give Wakanda to the world and to the people and whatnot. So he's always kind of showing these different layers. And then with this one, it's kind of even going deeper, where he's showing the power of music and the power of storytelling, and the power of spirituality coming from the griots in West Africa, and how the blues players were griots in a way, and using their music to kind of connect spiritually to people, and showing that and the juke joint being that platform, connection and spirituality of like kind of having that place of escape in a context where, you know, Black people wasn't fully free. Like they talk about in the movie that one night in the one moment before shit hit the fan, that's when everybody kind of felt free for a moment, and that's kind of what they were trying to create, like that feeling.
Hey, Black,
that we didn't
not
have.
too many spoilers though.
Oh yeah, no, I ain't saying. I don't think I say no spoilers yet, but yeah, I would just say that, you know, he hit it on the head as far as like the connection, showing that, you know, the Black American influence, but also not denying the African influence and evolution into what we became.
Got it. All right, so I take it G, you, and Trey, y'all haven't watched the movie, right?
Nah.
So I guess just speaking inside like the general sense of like the blending of, or the conversation around and your thoughts of it, of a African influence on both Black spirituality and Black music, on the origins of these, should I say, an African influence on the origins of it.
I like how it opened up a good conversation with us, like, because now Africans are trying to claim like influence on blues. Like, we made blues based on our experience on the plantation and working on the railroads and going through everything over here, and then we created that out of our experience in America. And it's almost like anything we do as foundational Black Americans, we have to associate it with some ancient tribe in Africa. Like, we have indigenous roots in America too. They had drums, they had call and response. How do you know we didn't get anything from them? And also African drum patterns, they're all on the one, we're on the twos and the fours. Like, we have a different
blues is on the one.
What are you talking about? Like, we wasn't even considered Americans on the plantation. We wouldn't consider human 3/5. Like, so how are we foundational at that point when we're not even considered Americans? We don't even have rights to vote, right to anything. Like, so we're not foundational at this point. You know, we are 2-3 years removed from slave ship, 2-3 generations removed from coming from Africa. Those are Africans on the plantations. I
don't know, bro. When we were liberated, some people have been in plantations since the 1600s. So we had like absolutely no connection.
You are talking about exceptions and small percentages when the large majority of people from plantations were slaves from West Africa, bro.
Didn't the slave trade end in the it was early 1800s.
Legally or illegally?
I'm talking about as far as like shipping people from Africa to America.
Legally or illegally, because they were still shipping people even when there was a law against it. When it was abolished.
There was still some, but when it was legal, that's when the vast majority, they say, come over here.
Okay, so
you make it seem like these people, like, first off, when they came over here, they erased their identity. So they didn't allow them to practice any of the stuff that they came from over there.
Bro,
and also,
there are countless books of people preserving their identity, even in secrecy, passing down their knowledge of where they're from and what they did, even in secrecy. Like, everybody didn't just have their mind wiped like fucking Men in Black. Like, a lot of people maintained who they were and they passed it down. There were a lot of isolated areas where there wasn't a lot of mixture. There wasn't a lot of family separation. You can go to the Geechee in Charleston and a lot of different places where people wasn't getting separated. Where in South Carolina, it was like 5-1 Black people here. Like, and people maintain a lot of their African identity in a lot of these places.
So, but you also realize there's a lot of books that talk about indigenous Americans being put on these same plantations, and the Yamasee War being about
indigenous Americans are less than like 3-4%. Like, the percentage that you're talking about is not even worth speaking on, because it wasn't even a significant number.
But they enslaved the Yamasee
are shoveled to reservations in Oklahoma and Middle America. Like, there are very few that was on slave plantations. Like, oh, that's a Cherokee Indian there, or that's an indigenous. No.
What about the Yamasee?
Them
What about the
indigenous
Yamasee?
people was fighting or getting wiped out by polio or getting shipped to reservations. They was not on the fucking cotton field.
Have you heard of the Yamasee War in South Carolina in the 1600s? No, it was the 1600s. It was either 16 or 1700s, but it was a war in South Carolina where the indigenous black-looking natives were fighting against the colonizers because their people were being enslaved and put on the same plantations in the region where my people come from.
So,
and on top of that,
you're proving my point that they wasn't on the plantation because they was
no,
fighting.
they were put on the plantation. They fought the war because their people were being enslaved.
So how many indigenous Americans were slaves?
They were enslaving the entire tribe,
compared
the entire
to
Yamasee nation, bro.
Compared to West Africans that was brought here on boats, the numbers don't match up.
And this is another thing we're talking about. It's probably cool if I bring this up, but in the chat, the person that the oldest skeletal remains in America from 11,700 years ago. So the oldest remains in America, it proved that the original people in the Americas were black. We agree on that, right? You said they were African. I'll take that. It was an African, 11,000 years ago.
Black is a color. Black is a concept about white people.
So there's evidence that the first people in America were black, right?
Yeah, but you're talking about thousands of years removed. Like there is record of Mansa Musa sending expeditions all around the world, and some never making it back, and some sent who have landed here, landed in South America, landed in Japan and stuff. But those are like 4,000 or 5,000 years ago. Like these are thousands. These are not like in the 400 years of slavery timeline. Like by then, the Native Americans had evolved, phenotypes have changed, and any free blacks or indigenous people that you're referring to ran their ass to Canada, were up in the New England states. They was not in the South.
So you think that those black remains that were found 11,000 years ago, what happened to those people?
I think some of them died out. I think some of them evolved into what we know as Native Americans. But
so they turn Siberian looking. They turn like Asian looking, even though they don't think they might look like the old man.
They adapted to a colder climate, so some of them got what we call red skin or a lighter skin. But if you look at a lot of Native American
cold
tribes,
environment, bro,
you can find similarities to a lot of African and West African tribes and tribes from Mali that a lot of them are similar to.
So what you're not? Are you saying? Correct me if I'm wrong. Are you saying that these people they were black in these remains, but they stayed in America so long that they lost like their melanin? Like what? I'm kind of confused. What are you saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so they started out black, but then over thousands of years they weren't black anymore. You don't think it's possible that those black people?
If you look at original Native Americans, their color wasn't that light. They were pretty brown. They called them.
Some of them were darker than me.
This is what I'm saying. But was the skulls that were found that were undistinctly African was thousands of years. The Native Americans have been here for thousands of years. Like phenotypes and shit change when you are in a different climate. That's just it's natural. Your body adapts. It changes.
But do you see how some people would think it's a little bit like outlandish to say that people came over here, they were black, and then they were in a place of abundance, and over time, instead of staying black, they turned into Siberians?
I never said they turned into Siberians. I'm saying you're going to change over time. You're in a colder climate, so you're going to change.
So over 11,000 years of black. So why didn't they change in the colder parts of Africa or the other places where there are black indigenous tribes?
South Africa has light-skinned people.
And what colder parts of Africa are you talking about?
But we wouldn't consider them, but they're still black though, right? A-Black is saying that the people that came over here black eventually.
He's saying that their phenotype changed eventually over time.
So about your South American argument, though,
Africa compared to the colder parts of America.
What about the indigenous or the black indigenous tribes that we see in Asia? Like every continent has black indigenous people there.
I'm not arguing that.
So
I'm not
why did
arguing
they? Why did they
That's
say
a
black?
Pan African
I'm
take.
not arguing that. All you're proving is that we're African. Like all of these tangents that you're going on are just proving that we still are African.
Well, some
Whether you
people will
like it
say
or
that
not.
every person with melanin is African. I get that, but you're saying that the people that they started out black, but due to climate, and after they had already been in America, over time they became the Pocahontas looking Native Americans.
I'm saying your over time, yes, your the body, the
Okay.
human body
Interesting.
adapts to your climate. So things will change. If you don't have the hot blazing sun of West Africa, you might get a couple complexions lighter when you live in fucking Wyoming and Oklahoma and Ohio, where a lot of
What
these
if you're living
tribes
in
are.
Alabama? What if you're in Alabama and Mississippi? You think that's temperature's cold enough to make you turn light skin?
It's colder than Africa. Yeah, they have a winter. What winter
I haven't
compares?
heard that theory before. So the people came over here, they were black, and they didn't come over the land bridge, but they were black. And then eventually over time, because even though the Americas, it goes all the way from basically down to the North Pole to the South Pole, it stretches all over, but the black people turned into the Pocahontas looking Native Americans over thousands of years, like all of them.
Where do you think white people came from in the Caucasus Mountains?
That's an interesting question, man. I often wonder where they came from, bro. Like it's a genetic mutation. I know
albinos. They got casted out. They was a tribe, got casted out, albinos.
I ain't gonna lie. I would love to hear Trey's take on where white people came from. I feel like this might be the most amazing take.
I know you
about to break down the genealogy.
Black say all white folks come from albinos. Like,
I mean, they got the Yakub stuff too.
This is what I was waiting for you to get there. Now go ahead.
Albinos is a wild one, but keep going.
But when you look at it, only black people can produce every color. So if you look at albinos, that's the closest thing to white. I'm just saying.
I'm not completely opposed to the albino.
Albino is like extreme white, like the hair, the eyebrows, the eyes. It's like it's not like regular Anglo white. It's like
I know, but I think what he's saying is that over time, because if I'm not mistaken, albinos were outcasted from I guess there's like a theory that's based off of this, where the albinos were outcasted. They also was mad and angry because they was outcasted.
But do y'all know how genetically speaking, the percentage of babies that are fucking albino in the world, like this is one of the random. So you telling me it's just a community of albino niggas got together?
They all linked up.
It's like, yo, albinos is not in abundance. It's like,
this isn't a theory that I'm putting my stake in.
One albino
I think it's entertaining.
Like, put up a smoke signal.
So
not even per school.
Yeah, exactly. Not even per school. It's like 2 albino niggas in the city.
But listen,
so you got
20,000 years ago, it might have been different.
Hey, maybe
you got 20 albinos and 2 albinos,
and they all be cross-eyed. That's the crazy thing.
If 2
they cross-eyed and look like cousins.
If two albinos,
hey, how many albinos would it take to beat a gorilla?
Oh man, them niggas supercharged, huh?
What if they not albino? They just look like Lonzo Ball.
Out about albino niggas, y'all see that movie Powder? Fucking now that nigga, all you need is one of them powder niggas. He'll take that gorilla out instantly. God damn! If you got powder in the pack, you good.
He has some cool powers though.
Bro, I just can't believe how you can say that Africans can travel all the way across the ocean to be the oldest remains we can find in South America. And they didn't migrate to the Mississippi Delta, one of the most fertile places in the world. They didn't inhabit all these other. Okay, so if they did that, if these African people did that, then I don't see how you're saying that they.
You know how like with birds is cardinals and robins and blue jays, but they all birds. I think with humans it's similar, and there's like a OG human that's from Africa, and then there's like the weird Neanderthal niggas that was in Europe, and there might be like another type of nigga that's like of the same elk of human, but like everybody that's human ain't a Blue Jay. So some niggas Blue Jays, some niggas Cardinals, some niggas Ravens, but they all birds. So I think with humans, what happened is that you got these inferior, like Neanderthals, that the niggas from Africa seen and was like, I'm trying to fuck. And then basically over time, they started fucking Neanderthals and they started having white babies. Like, this is just how the shit go.
I mean, I've seen some evidence
That's how
behind
shit
that
go.
because they said that the Neanderthal dudes got wiped out. They found a lot of Neanderthal bodies and they took
Africans seen them Neanderthals and was like, I'm trying to see what that's hitting on.
They used to think that albinos was like cursed. They was like devils. Like they thought they was cursed and shit.
That's why the Neanderthal is different. It had like brown hair. You know what I'm saying? It won't albino.
Man, I've been down this rabbit hole, bro.
Unpacked versus anthropology. Niggas is going crazy.
Hey, y'all,
you just proving my point that
I know whites don't come from albinos. I'll say that.
Man, look
Mr.
up the
Parallel said that albinos went extinct. I just seen an albino.
Nigga, it's albinos working at Walmart right now, nigga.
They just they be cross-eyed. Their eyes be like lightly red. They do always have like super like traditional black features. I don't know. It's like such a weird thing.
Hey, it's the thick albino.
Don't nobody look more like this. Never mind, that's too far.
Hey, Fat Boy dropped the super chat with some information that'll probably help my case.
Let me see if I can find it. All right.
Yeah, that's.
Why would the government pass laws in Virginia?
A thick albino? Oh yeah.
That boy said.
What's her stripper name? What's the thick albino stripper name?
Oh, I know.
Ice Spice. I've heard it. She's not a stripper, but
yeah, basically.
Yo, if she thick and she albino, she gonna make some paper.
Yeah.
She gonna make some paper.
All right, so Fat Boy said, why would the government pass laws in Virginia to reclassify dark-skinned natives as black, Negro, and freedmen if none of them were enslaved with Africans?
So they don't confuse all y'all niggas, basically, but that don't mean there was a large percentage of them.
So you're now conceding that there were black
saying
natives.
albinos are extinct in the chat. That's hilarious. Yo, this is why you can't trust the fucking chat, nigga. I see the albino. It's albinos walking around right now. They talking about this shit is extinct. These niggas is hilarious, bro. This shit is crazy.
Hey, he did say in Europe though. I don't know if that makes any difference. Oh, never mind. He added that part just now. He said albinos are definitely not. Oh, that's Mr. Parallel. I don't know if they're in Europe or not. Probably are. I don't see why they wouldn't be.
Yo, niggas think that albinos are extinct is hilarious.
Yo, and look up the Wild Man if you get a chance in Europe, bro. They have like it's pictures of black royalty, and they got a white dude like tied up, like kind of in chains.
Bro.
And everything.
A white man could never make an albino. Hell no. Nah. I ain't with it. A black, nah.
Those are black people.
You ain't clapping.
Them albinos.
Not that one.
They're not. That's not the white. That's not like
Johnny. I gotta access to my South Carolina brethren. I feel like is that not the best of both worlds? You can get the whitest black woman.
No, you can get like Alicia Keys or something. You ain't gotta
you need the actual European in her. I got you.
Yeah. Hey, wait a minute. I see what
albinos. You said so, Johnny. You said albinos not white enough. You said albino is like it's not quite white enough. You gotta have the actual.
I got you.
Caucus gene.
No, you fucked me up. They got me, Trey. They got me, bro.
They got you, but like, let's be real. Like, nobody's been around more white people than me and you. So it's some white.
Well, you more than me, but I get it.
I'll say me more than you. Yeah, we didn't grow up in the area that is predominantly black. So it's not like we seeking out white women. We have a preference for white women, but there's white women around. Like, if there was white women around y'all might have been more likely to,
proximity,
to divulge at some point too. So I mean, like, I'm ashamed of messing with the women who's around me. It ain't like I
Bro,
prefer
I
them.
ain't ashamed of it. No, hold on.
Yeah, but also we don't have to
I
let
just don't want to
people.
be defined. I just don't want to be defined by it. But I
Thank
ain't
you, bro. It's
ashamed.
not a preference.
Yeah,
Nobody
don't
over here
define
had
me
no
by it.
preference
I ain't
for.
ashamed, like at all.
Yeah, just want to get that clear.
Amen, brother. Amen.
All right, y'all good on that one?
We done.
Nah, but I didn't
Back
hear
to the
A Black.
movie.
So
Back to
A
the
Black,
movie.
you did. A Black,
Back to the movie.
A Black,
Back to
you
the
did
movie.
recognize that there was black natives over here, though. I think we want to take that checkpoint and we can come back later because
What's a
at
black
first you
native?
didn't.
What's a
A
black
person
native?
that was a person that Virginia law reclassified as a slave.
An African.
Call them what you want to call them. They was already here before the slave boats, and that's
And
all
where
that
they
matters
come
to me.
from? Where they come from?
Where that don't. I mean, we can talk about that later.
No, we talking about right now. One word. Where they come from?
Nah, because I don't feel like crossing that bridge. I just want you to finally
shit.
identify.
Why? It's so
No,
much
because
proof of where they came from.
because at this point we've been
Africa. I'll tell you, they came from Africa.
No, but at this point we've
Uh-oh.
barely been able to get you to accept that we didn't all come off slave boats. Now
I never said that. I keep saying that the majority of black people in America are descended from slaves. The majority. That's all I've been saying.
But some of us are. But we do have some black indigenous.
We do have some. But
okay,
it ain't nobody here.
Progress. That's progress. I'll take that for now. Damn, A Black, we come a long way.
All right, yeah, I'm just sharing the
okay.
Some screenshots that was sent in. But no, go ahead. I was
all right. So to add to that, so if those black Africans who are indigenous Americans, if they were over here, do you think they might have had drums and they might have cultivated their own musical style and their own culture separate from the continent, or do you think that they were like one-to-one? It's not one-to-one, but you think that like their cultural practices were identical to what was going on in the motherland on the other side of the globe?
No, they wasn't identical. Just like it's not identical tribes in Africa. Like, first off, they have thousands of tribes in Africa, damn near 2,000, where they have distinct cultures, but they're all still phenotypically, DNA-wise, African from the continent.
Okay, I agree with that.
You have a lot of similarities with the Native Americans. They got drums. They got they beat drums and do shit too.
I agree with that. So if you're saying that blues came from Africans,
I'm not saying blues. I never said blues came from Africa. I said that the influence is there. If they are African, it's not even an African influence because they're Africans. Like those people in the fields are not considered Americans.
So you're saying that if we are the influence that came from Africa, it could have been from the Africans in America. It didn't necessarily have to be from the Africans on the continent because some of us were here before the slave boats. It's not like everything we have as far as our culture came through the slave boats from Africa. Because
so Trey, I guess
can I answer? Hey, because I think I don't know if you've seen the movie. But
no,
I don't think the movie necessarily attributes everything.
No, it just shows that like there's a progression of it.
It shows the connection. That's it.
It just shows a connection, and I think it'd be hard to deny the connection. We can argue about how much of it, how little it is.
I think that's what they are denying.
But John, that there's no connection is like there is some connection.
We're getting into the nuance of that.
What about like the pyramids in Central America and the pyramids in Africa? Would you not?
We're getting into
the hieroglyphics in South Africa and stuff. There's always a connection over there. So why wouldn't there be with the music as well? Even if it evolved here, there is still a connection there, I would say.
So if an African goes to some island 1,000 years ago, and 1,000 years later, they have something that they created that is based on their environment there, is based on their experiences there, is based on their culture that nobody can relate to on the continent. Can they say that this is their own creation, that this influence by their
saying, Trey, but you're saying nobody can relate
to
100
years, 50 years.
But there is some connection to Africa. Would you not say that?
It depends on what you mean by African, because if you're considered
All right.
the
So
indigenous
what if you
American,
use an African
I don't
instrument to
understand.
play the style of music?
But
Would
y'all
that
shaking your
count as an
head like I don't
influence?
understand. Like I'm saying, it
Like
depends
if
on
you
what you
use an
consider.
African instrument to play the style of music, you don't think that
No,
counts as any
well,
version of influence?
I can't answer that question right
Okay,
after.
good.
I want to clarify what I just said
Okay.
that made G start laughing. Because when we said it depends on what you
How do
mean
you
by
know what I'm
African,
laughing at? This nigga wild, boy, bro. You gotta relax. Everything ain't about you, nigga. Like I can't even like I don't even. I'm not even in this conversation, and yet I'm getting thrown in this shit. Like
I'm
I
not
can
mad
laugh
at
at.
you.
I
I
can
thought
laugh
I
at.
said, hey
I
G,
can
I said
laugh.
something that you laugh. I said, of course you can laugh. I said something you laugh. So, and
I
we're doing
wasn't
a
laughing at
podcast.
you. I wasn't even
we're
laughing
doing
at you.
Well, G, we're doing a podcast right now, and I said something that you laughed. So excuse me, I'm not mad at you. I just thought you were laughing at what I said since I was talking to the panel, and you're on the panel, and I said something, you started laughing. There's nothing to like have to tell me to relax about.
Yeah,
But
I can tell you, relax. You don't know why I'm laughing, nigga. Like I said, you over
I
here
assume that
making
you
us.
were part of the conversation.
Hey,
My
yeah.
bad.
Hey,
Okay.
let's keep going to the point right here.
All right. So what I was
at,
going to say, what I was going to say, when it depends on what you mean by Africa, and then people were laughing when I said that, was if you are referring to the Black Indigenous Americans, you're saying they count as Africans too, because they came from Africa. Then if you're saying the influence came from those Africans, so-called Africans, I'll concede that. What I'm saying didn't happen is our influence came only from our family that came on slave boats, and that they brought over came from Africa.
Did you hear anybody make that argument that it only came from?
we actually talked about the evolution and the stuff that made it American and how we made it, or that was like the more pressing theme of it was like how we
I'm baby
made it
stepping.
our own.
Well, I'm baby stepping because I'm not sure how far y'all are, like where y'all are at right now. So I'm just trying to like test the temperature. So when I say, is it possible that the influence for blues music came exclusively from the so-called Africans who were already in America when we got here, since it's so much different from what's on the continent already? Like, could our culture have came from the Black people who were already here instead of the Black people who are in Africa who sold us? You get what I'm saying?
Are you asking, could blues have came exclusively from FBA? Is that what you're asking?
From the Black natives, they had drums too. They had.
Is that what you're asking? Are you asking the question?
It did.
The answer, but like you can just prove that it's not because of whether you want to talk about what is it the style of music, not music of singing. I think it's called melisma, and the phrasing that comes with that, the intonations that come with that, but also the instrument. One of the most important instruments, like the banjo, comes from Africa. It's an African instrument. So it's hard to say that there's no influence if the instrument is from Africa.
I mean, I think there's American influence too. I think that's what.
Oh, of course, no. But that's what I'm saying. Like, but it is also not saying that it's the most influential, or that's the thing that made it the blues. It's just saying that there's influences that comes. That's how influences work. It's like saying hip hop was influenced by the blues. Clearly, it was, but most rap songs that you hear don't sound like the blues. So influence doesn't work like it's a one-to-one connection. So like it's an evolution of a thing.
Would you say that any music I create with a banjo, like no matter what kind of music it is, that's influenced by Africa because it's played on the banjo?
It has like it has origins in Africa, clearly.
Would you say it's influenced? I use that word specifically for a reason. Would you say any music that I play on the banjo? Even though I've never heard no African music, I'm playing some stuff that just random. It might not even be real good real music or anything. I'm just messing around on the banjo. That was influenced by Africa.
But where does the instrument come from?
Okay, so anything that happens on the banjo. That's what I'm trying to get at.
I don't think it's hard to just admit that there is influence from Africa and there's influence from Native and Indigenous Americans. Like, it was a melting pot of influence that created this new genre called the blues. But you can't deny the African influence, and there is Indigenous influence as well. But they both play a part. Like that's always.
I got you. We're talking about the band. We're just talking about the banjo because that was your first example that proves the so-called African influence. So I'm just trying to figure out
Just easy.
Because so
It
so
don't
anything.
prove it proves it, but not only it allows you not to be able to deny it. Like if you use a drum, if you use the banjo, which evolved into a
But
guitar.
hold on now. So Native American drums, the Native Americans that were in America before white people ever got here, they were influenced by Africa too. Then, like anybody that plays a drum was influenced by Africa.
According to you, yes.
we just had a whole
I'm
talk
asking,
about
not
this being
according to me.
African
I'm asking
too.
the question to you guys. Anybody that plays a drum was
all right,
influenced
so
by
this would be like the perfect way to put it. Like if we'll use a snare drum, like that's a specific drum that exists. And even in the sense that you can program on Fruity Loops or whatever music software that you use, there's already a snare drum sound there, right?
Oh shoot, that's a better line, bro. If I make a beat
I'm
on
gonna land it real quick.
okay.
There's multiple times you hear the band sounds and the drums, the little that's programmed inside music, and they say that this beat is marching band influence. It's not even like from a literal marching band drum, but the sound is influenced from the sound of that, and they give the credit that it's influenced. Like there's influence there. The sound that's being used comes and derives from this specific space. It's no different when it comes down to like blues and the instrument. The sound that's being used derives from a space.
So does that apply to what if the banjo? What about the lute? Like there are instruments that are from ancient times.
Right.
Could that have influenced the banjo?
Well, the banjo is an African.
But I'm
like
saying what influenced that? Like whatever Shakespeare was playing with Shakespeare, was the banjo around that, like a string instrument. I don't know if we can just give Africa, influencer credit for any drum or string instrument. That seems like a reach to me.
But like the specific instrument, like the actual banjo is what I'm talking about. And again, like yourself, like you claim these guys as like FBA scholars. They said that any scholar could point and say, or would point and say that Africa has not roots, but has influences in Black American music.
I would be more curious.
He said
I would be more interested in what Muddy Waters or BB King or people from that area. If they said that they were influenced by Africa, then they have more credit.
Oh, so that's all you need, because I can give you that.
Oh, BB King said he was influenced by Africa.
Yeah, you want
that's interesting. Yeah, I'd like to see that.
All right,
BB King said he was influenced by Africa.
All right, we finally got a win here now.
I got you.
All right. I guess before we kind of close that part off, or did everybody answer? How did they? Damn, gee, we didn't get to you. We kind of completely spun to a tangent with Trey, and also just a quick sidebar.
That's not what
we will be doing call-ins first on the Discord. Join the Discord. The link will be first posted there. Afterward, we'll be posting into the actual chat. I'll throw the Discord link into the chat again. It is in the description as well. But if you want early access to the call-in, if you want first dibs on the call-in, join the Discord. But we
can move it to the next thing, because I haven't seen the movie, so I really don't even want to.
Do you have general sentiments about the concept of Africa's influence on music and spirituality in America or Black Americans?
Not what I haven't seen the movie. Nah.
Okay.
Yo, I want to fact check something real quick. That's cool. Oh damn, where you at?
He in and out. No, keep
going. I'm here. Can you hear me? You can hear me, right?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I think my camera just turned off.
Yo, can I read something while you getting that situated?
Yeah. Do you? Okay. Can you send it into?
Yeah, I'll put a link in the chat. But I looked up. BB King said he was influenced by Africa. It said while BB King's musical roots are deeply connected to the African American churches in the Mississippi Delta, he did not explicitly state that he was influenced by Africa. His early musical development is attributed to his exposure to gospel music in the church and the blues style of local musicians. So
I just sent the quote of him literally acknowledging African influence.
All
I
right,
got
is
you.
it a
Sounds like
Discord?
it's mixed.
All right.
Yeah, I think a lot of this Africa stuff kind of just started, bro.
Been here for 100,000 years.
No, I'm talking about we didn't even call ourselves African Americans until the late 80s. We were calling ourselves other stuff. And I think after that happened is when we started, rocking the dashikis and everything like that. And I think that happened because
that's because we had our history erased, and we had to have an awakening and have those movements to remind us that we were from Africa, that we've done great things before slavery. Like those are the whole point of these movements. That's why they're wearing dashiki. That's why they're doing the afros and natural hair, because it was a return back to your roots. Like you had a whole generation where your shit was wiped away.
Trey, you don't find no value in. Cause me and Q had this discussion a while ago, but you don't find no value in identifying with some of the like prestigious stuff from Africa, like the music, like some of the warrior mentality they've had in some of the tribes. That you don't think there's nothing to gain from reaching back and tapping, even if it's just like it's not all of us, but even if there's some influence of that on it, you don't think there's no value in trying to take any positive from it?
Not until we learn every black rebellion, every black inventor, every black politician, every black American person, because we don't know enough about that, but we know all this information about Africa. I think it's more powerful to identify with those who sacrificed their lives in America for our empowerment.
Just start our history at slavery, and then everything that's happened.
No, we don't have to start at slavery. We can get into
Where'd you started at?
We can start with our indigenous history as well.
What start with indigenous history that is
the Yamasee Wars.
So like them fighting off slavery and becoming slaves.
I mean, I think I would focus more on them fighting back. I think we owe it to our Aboriginal ancestors in America to pay homage to them fighting off major powers from all sides for like 400 years. Yeah.
No, I'm saying start our history there. That's where we'll start our history at.
Well, I guess that's what you have to do when your Aboriginal history has been erased. Yeah. We go. I think
you an Aboriginal American.
I have Aboriginal American roots. Yeah, I sure do.
Okay, so you don't have no African roots.
I'm sure I have some African DNA. Most FBAs would agree to
that. Don't matter though. DNA. That don't matter.
I think what matters most is my ancestors on this land. That's what matters most to me.
So fuck the ancestors on the other land.
But you don't see no value. You don't see no value in learning history from you don't find value in learning history from any culture globally.
I think I prioritize my own culture, and then I can trace my roots in America back 300, 400 years. So I want to know everything that happened during that time, because a lot of that stuff's been hidden from us. So I think it was hidden from us for a reason. And I think once we start finding that information out, then it'll open up a rabbit hole to know what came before. But I think what they want us to do is only identify in Africa, go back to Africa. Just leave, because like even Abraham Lincoln was trying to deport us after the Civil War. They've been trying to get us to go to Africa forever. Now they got us identifying for Africa just because we did all the stuff to help those leaders over there fight for their freedom. A lot of them came and studied the HBCUs. So we've been fighting for Africa so much that now we think we're Africans ourselves. When in reality, we have Yamasee roots. We have like Choctaw, we have like Creek Indians, we have the Mississippians, we have all kinds of indigenous roots in America.
African blood in there too.
I'll pay you to show me your DNA with any of them roots.
But it's also African roots too, Trey. We said that last week that it's both. It's like both can be true. We can be African of descent, and we can also have indigenous roots.
But the thing is though, John, we spend a lot of time focusing on our African roots. I think we're just now starting to embrace our indigenous.
That's the majority of our roots.
I think that needs some TLC. Our indigenous roots need some TLC.
I can agree that we probably need to focus on it, but I said, but there's no value in the other roots. You don't think there's no value?
I think there would be some value, but at this point, we're so behind in our indigenous and finding out that type of information. we should be all hands on deck to figure that out because that's a part of our identity.
I agree with that too, but that don't mean there's no value in the African roots. Like
I don't like to do absolute, so I won't say. I won't say there's no value. I'll give you that, but I think the priority right now should be discovering all the history that we have in this land that was erased for us. Because I think the reason I think that's more important though, John, is because our Aboriginal roots in America, that's our land claim. That means this is our land. I think that's why that's more powerful, and they don't want us to focus on that because once we start understanding that we've been over here for thousands of years, a lot of us have, then that's going to put a battery in our back to the man was old.
But by that logic, the whole world is ours because we've been everywhere for 100,000 years.
I only think you got to go back Aboriginal for the land claim. I think the land claim is the Great Migration when they ran the insurrections and during Reconstruction in the Red Summer Night. I think that's where the land. You don't even have to go back. You can just go back to post-slavery.
No, I agree, John.
Reconstruction, as far as like our land claims this country.
That adds to the argument too, but I think what adds even more to the argument is that before they came here, we was already here. But what you're saying that's important too. Don't get me wrong.
All right, I was just asking. I think we can. I don't even know where we at in aspects to the movie no more, but
it's kind of like we explored the musical side of it. Again, he does bring reference to a lot of voodoo, hoodoo, and other different versions of, I guess, West African spiritual systems. Again, even the twins are based off of Yoruba folklore.
I thought it was based.
How do we feel about Coogler's? You said what?
I thought those were based on two actual FBA characters, the twins.
No, he said in interviews like what it was based off of.
Yoruba entities.
Yeah. Unless you want to, like, you could debate him out.
Yeah, that's what he
said.
Hold on. I watched that. I think that the character, the personalities might have been based, but I think like, and I have to, like I said, I need to watch the movie twice, but I think lineage wise, they were what would be considered FBA.
Yeah, the archetype of who they were
Right.
like what he said. He based it off of two. Like there's a folklore inside. I think Yoruba, whatever.
Yeah,
mythology that he said is based, like it bases off of, even down to the colors they wore was like
right.
represented by.
I can see that. I didn't see that interview, but I could see that. But I think if the facts of the movie, I think they would be considered FBA.
Oh no, nobody's arguing that.
Okay.
Yeah. I agree with that. Can I add one more thing, man? People keep talking about the DNA test. That's like a scientific version of confirmation bias. Because if we don't have the markers for the people that we're trying to connect with, if that's not part of the DNA test, then of course the DNA test is going to show that that's a match because it's not in the list of things for us to match to. So, but the closest thing that we have to match to is in Africa. So that's what we match. But I guarantee you, if you were to dig up the skeletal remains in America of these Black indigenous people and that were included in the 23andMe, then you would see a match. But you can't exclude that and then tell me it's not a match, so that proves anything. That's a fake test. You feel me?
Niggas get proof. They move the goalposts. Like,
what I'm saying. So hold on. What I say don't make no logical sense. You're telling me you don't understand how DNA tests for no markers?
They can test every Indian in the reservation and get plenty of DNA to have markers for matches.
If there's no markers for Black Yamasee, then how is a DNA test going to connect me with Black Yamasee?
Because they will show. They can still show the DNA.
If there's descendants, there has to be some.
Yeah, but it'll be I forget what it's called. Maybe it's like a Poplo group or some shit like that.
That's not included in the test.
No, but if you test a bunch of people, like it would show a group that has this very specific, distinct DNA.
Even if they don't know where
marker.
It comes from, they can tell common ancestry. So if there's a common ancestry, even if it's a race trait, there's common ancestry. They'll be like, there's this common ancestry that goes back to.
Niggas want to be Cherokee Bill.
Hold on, bro. Y'all really not getting. I don't know if I can break this shit down. If we're trying to show that we're part of a tribe, but that tribe is not represented as one of the options to connect us with, then how is the DNA test going to connect me with that option that doesn't
They will
exist?
show. They will show. They
Because
will
the
show
DNA
a
was grouped
percentage.
naturally. Like if we're all related, if there's all a common ancestry in there, it would naturally group itself in a
It
group
does.
together.
They do group Black Americans.
But if they were here first and they've evolved from here, you can figure it out. And I'm not saying it doesn't, but I'm just from what I know about DNA and what I've watched from like some crime shows about how they do genealogy and how they go back and find serial killers with DNA. They can trace family origins and they can trace shit back, so they can find common ancestors. And I imagine that's how you could prove it. Is like there would be a common ancestor and it would all trace back to someplace in America. And like I said, I ain't no DNA expert, but I'm just but I imagine that's how you could still do it. Is it would group itself up before it even went back to Africa. There would be subgroups here in America also.
I don't have no faith in the test that you can send in a lizard saliva and it will say it's Jewish, or you can send in some dog and it'll say it's
you ain't got
from
no proof
Yoruba
of
or
that.
some shit.
So
No, that happens, bro.
You'll believe that. You'll believe that bullshit.
You don't think people have sent animal DNA samples to the test and got results back?
I don't think you have any proof of that. And if I run a company where my money is based on accuracy, no, lizards.
Yeah, look it up, bro. I'm not sending a link, bro. So if I prove,
I can look up and show you the low percentage of Native Americans, but you want me to look up lizard saliva?
No, A-Black. If I prove that the test that you put in so much faith in can't tell the difference between humans and animals, does that mean anything to you?
How can you prove that?
If people send in their pet saliva they got DNA results back,
the same
does
people
that mean anything to you?
Test. So you basically doing selective believing right now, based on to prove your argument. So you can disbelieve hundreds and thousands of accurate real humans and one exception of a possible lizard. That is what you're gonna base your whole shit off of. You have no proof of somebody sending it in. Somebody could have made this story up online. Oh, I sent in my lizard shit, and this is what I got back. Oh, you heard about the lizard shit?
Nigga, I'll do the experiment myself, bro.
You African, nigga. You African. Deal with it. You ain't no damn Cherokee Bill, no indigenous, nothing, no Pocahontas, John Smith, none of that shit. You from West Africa. All y'all
I'm willing to. I'm gonna pay for this test, but I know when I do this test back, you're still gonna find something new. But if I get my dog right, if I send it to 23andMe and it gives me some results back, are you still gonna have faith in this test?
Well, I wouldn't use 23andMe because they bankrupt. I would go with Ancestry.com or African Ancestry. They had the widest database of DNA. I wouldn't go with 23andMe.
I think a trustworthy test should at least be able to determine species.
You might go with Ancestry.
Whatever test I do, it should.
I like this. So Trey, you said you're gonna pay for the test. You're gonna get your dog saliva and send it off.
Yeah, tell me where my dog from. It's gonna say my dog Yoruba. It's got a taste for bushmeat or some shit.
Please video record.
I want to make sure that you show us you doing that and then send it off. And then what the results say. Okay. All the official moments. I want to be there for it.
Oh shit.
You can make a vlog about it. That should be
because you could pretend like you giving it to your dog, then lick it, some shit like that. We gotta make sure it's actually
TikTok it.
So you gotta let me see. I'll videotape it and I'll have the dog. Yeah, I mean, I'll have the dog lick it and then I'll do it on camera and I'll seal it in the envelope on camera since y'all gotta do that for y'all trust me or whatever.
Can we put that in the Discord?
I'll do that, yeah. I wouldn't be the first person to do it. This experiment's been conducted many times. That's why most people don't believe it. And also the test says it's for entertainment purposes only. And also Gates, the black dude who got hemmed up by during the President Obama administration, Obama went and did a beer summit with the cop. I forgot his first name, but Gates said that the test, there's no way you can tell a person's tribe based on gender. He said he was just making stuff up, and he talked to the guy that was over. I can send you the clip of the guy talking about that. So these DNA tests don't mean nothing, bro. If you go in and you dig up these skeletal remains, I already said that, and take out the bone marrow and find the DNA there, you're going to find a match with these Black Americans. But if you don't have that, the closest thing will be Africans.
The thing you fuck up is you assume that a lot of people don't know their history. black people are the only ones who have a disjointed history. You got white people, Asian people, and a lot of Africans and Indians who can trace their culture and their family back thousands of years, who have done this test to verify different things and have come back with the same results. So if it could be disproven, the shit would have been disproven. Now there's exceptions of everything. That's just science. There's going to be some fuck ups, but you have people that already know their history and they say, let's just do it. Just see if we find out anything new. And they already know their shit. It is us black people that are finding out about things and finding out grandpas and shit like that. But there are people that can already trace their history back 1,000 years. My girl, I got a girl in Senegal. They got records. They can go back 1,500 years. I knew a Somalian girl. They can go back there to 2,000 years. It's Chinese people that can go back 3,000 years with their family records. So if you got people that already have proof of their shit, and then they do a DNA test and it aligns with what they already know, how is it not accurate?
Hold on, hey Black, you said there's people in Africa that got documented. They had their lineage documented 3,000 years.
2,000, 1,000. I said 3,000. I said 3,000 for China. I said 1,000 for Somalia. Yes.
Interesting. Okay.
They looking all right over there though, hey Black.
Man, you ain't about to get me in trouble. People be watching this shit that I don't know. And I have a girlfriend. Actually,
not just a girlfriend, right?
Yeah, you're right. I have a fiance. Yeah, that's not.
I have a girlfriend.
I don't see nothing. I don't know what they look like.
I got a shawty too, hey Black. Hey, shout out if she listening, and she Black too.
Yeah.
I knew y'all was about to say that.
Okay. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, congrats to A Black.
Okay, so nonetheless, there was another interesting dynamic that was introduced. Well, I guess matter of fact, we'll go to this before we move away from the entire music conversation in general. I was listening to Kugler speak, and maybe it was with Michael B. Jordan, I want to say. And they was having an interview, and they were speaking about the music, and at the time how it was even in the movie, he wanted to show the duality of black music and how it's looked and been framed over time. And he spoke about how or the movie is based off of, if you watch the well, I don't want to give any spoilers. Well, this is not really a spoiler. The main blues guitarist, he was a preacher's son. He was a preacher boy. He called him Preacher Boy. And during that time, there was a lot of conversation about how blues was demonic music. And he kind of brought that down, I mean, all the way from jazz to rock and roll, hip hop, etc. I'll ask the question, why is it that black music has seemingly always been demonized in American culture?
I think it's because it's something that hadn't been understood. I think, like even in the movie, I think like that was the draw. Let me not. But there was a draw that you even see with like hip hop. Look at the number one consumer of hip hop, the blues. Even a lot of them Juke George, the Chitlin Circuit. It was a lot of white people that was going to them concerts, and I think it was something that, whether we say this from Africa, whether it's our indigenous roots, but it's a certain common kind of magic that we've had with this, with our relationship with music, which I think has left white people at all. They be inspired, and some of them just want to get in proximity of it to even steal a little bit of that magic, like you saw in the movie. So I think I think it's just we're really good at it. It's something that we communicate with. It's something that's like to our soul, and it's hard to replicate. So I think that's why they, are so drawn to it.
G, talk to us.
I think, man, the music is just a powerful art form, and people know that. The whites know that. They've been knew that, the power of music, and they know who does it the best. And so, I feel like they could see that everything that they tried to do to keep shit like separated was literally like music had the potential to break it all, shatter it all down. So like, because like when you really think about how powerful that is, you know, for these whites who otherwise won't give blacks like any human looks, any humanity, none of that. And all of a sudden, a nigga play a song, they like, oh, this nigga is not that bad, and they start moving and grooving, and all of a sudden they're paying money to see a nigga perform, and it's like you just never know. Now niggas fucking your bitch, and now it's like we got to put it into this. It's the devil's music. All the white girls is giving up the draws. So, you know, I just think it's just too powerful of an art form. And the powers that be understood that and knew that, and that's why they always tried to take the music that we produce and put a white face on it so that they could, you know, co-opt the superpowers.
Gotcha. A Black.
What was the question again? I missed it.
This was speaking about the demonization of black music over time, how it's always been looked at as like devil's music or negative music.
I think because it has the power to unify. It has the power to kind of make you cast down a lot of like boundaries and stuff. Make people come together, and there's a fear in that. So you got to demonize it to make it seem like it's bad or wrong. But if you look what it did during integration, not integration, during segregation. What hip hop does now with white kids, what music does, our music does around the world, whether it's blues, rock and roll, jazz, and hip hop, it brings people together. And so, you know, that there's a fear in that, is that it's hard to keep people separate when you have an art form that can unify people. So, like anything else, you got to demonize it to try to make it seem like it's bad.
Yeah.
I dig it. Johnny.
Did already.
You went. Oh, my bad. Trey.
Yeah, I kind of agree with what everyone said so far. Because even if you go like the Stono Rebellion, I think they were using drums to do drum signals to kind of organize the attack. So then they took our drums, and then that's when we started doing the whole things that fraternities do, like using your body as whatever. That's what. So the story goes. So that's just the first example of us using music to spread, like pass messages, kind of speaking like a code. Also, you know, like Follow the Drinking Gourd, a lot of these spirituals that we sing have hidden messages there. And I think it's also interesting, like, how do we keep coming up with all these different genres? Like, we got to be the most innovative people in the world. And it's like if they can't beat it, which is the first thing to do, then they always eventually end up co-opting it. And that goes for, like, you know, rock, blues, jazz, you know, even with hip hop now, as far as the industry goes, like everything we do, they end up co-opting it, and then it goes to it gets run down. It's never as pure as it was in the beginning. And then I guess last thing, I think some of that might be, if we keep giving, there's some appropriation involved if we start crediting Africa for everything we can create as Americans, Black Americans as well. Like, we need our Black American intellectual property. We're not supposed to credit Africa for that. Like, we need to say we created this and this is ours, and that needs to be true for something. But it's almost like anything you do as a Black American, there has to be some way. Like, I even saw breakdancing. They're trying to say we got that from our African roots. It's like, bro, like, we create things. Even if we did, let's say, get it from Africa, if it happened when we were still in Africa, it still could have been from us. Like, if we were in Africa, you know, did it still come from Africa if it came from us and we were the ones that came over here?
Bro, I think
everybody didn't come. It'd have been
you confusing inspire and influence from then getting from. Like, nobody's saying that like things are.
It seem like synonyms.
No, they're not at all. They're totally different. You can
Sorry,
be
it's no way.
inspired. Like
You said
your art,
inspired, influence, and getting it from are not like
they're
synonymous.
not. They are similar, but they're not the same. It's
I'll
like
say, man, come on, don't
when you saying
gaslight me,
like
bro.
somebody's like, oh, this comes directly from Africa. Like, nah, like sometimes things are inspired. Even Afrobeat artists in Africa now can acknowledge that they're inspired by hip hop and stuff with their form.
But
But
they're
that's
literally rapping over R&B beats. They're singing over a Black American stuff. Like that's undeniable. That is influence. Us using a drum is not
they admit
influence.
that they are
They
inspired.
have to. It's
Just like hip
unquestionable.
hop was inspired by
Africans. Then why don't no? But you can saying that them singing over samples of Black American music, they give us credit. Yeah, if hip hop started with us sampling African music, then we'd have to give them credit too. But that's not what happened. We sampled soul music.
You literally got Africa.
No, but yeah, and they also sampled African music as well.
Sampled everything.
Yeah, like break beats wasn't just
they sampled.
RZA was sampling Hong Kong. I mean, fucking kung flu flicks and sounds and shit. Like the real essence of hip hop, niggas wasn't just sampling soul beats. They were sampling all types of music.
So does that mean we were influenced by Asians too?
Wu-Tang was for sure. That's undeniable.
Yeah, I don't think that you would.
Like nigga, you can't deny Asian. Like you can't deny karate and the flip. Like Wu-Tang is undeniably influenced by Asian culture. That's undeniable. Undeniable.
Yeah, there's certain parts of like niggas used to get Asian letters tattooed on them. But
oh yeah, that was a whole.
It says shout out to Sharon Young. She says we need to worry about where blacks are from, then worry about what's happening to blacks. Maybe it's saying that we need to worry more about what's happening to blacks right now than where blacks are from. Yeah, you go, guy. What was that? Oh no, I see it, Johnny. It's a real close game. 1 point. I don't know if we have any Laker fans in here. I don't know if we have any Bron fans.
Just off principle, I gotta see Luka lose just so I can say that the trade was worth. Just off principle, I gotta see. He got to go out in the first round just so I can say that the defense won't dare.
Reverend son, Lakers in 7.
Okay.
Nah, the Lakers going out tonight.
Nah, Lakers ain't doing shit in 7. Not this
series.
series.
I saw a look in Anthony Edwards' eyes in pregame.
Yeah, it's a 1 point game right now. I'm cool with it.
He just got that text message from that lady. That's what that was.
He going into the fourth with 1 point lead. Anthony Edwards and them boys about to get them out of there, man. Watch.
Yeah, I think they might have this one. No, I think the Lakers gonna get this.
Y'all say people that don't believe man.
The Lakers not gonna win 3 out of the next.
Y'all don't believe
they're not gonna win 3 in a row.
This game here, though. One game at a time.
As a LeBron hater, I will say, and I know this is off our topic right now, but I be forgetting that not only is he 40, but he's a damn billionaire. Like this nigga's out there balling. He really don't have to be doing this shit. But I think that's kind of dope. I still hate that nigga, but
I feel you. That's right.
I respect.
He could retire. He could retire and go play golf.
I still hate that nigga, but
I respect him. But like,
that's GOAT level shit.
Yeah, man. He's a billionaire on the court with these niggas. Like that's crazy. He on some Tom Brady shit. Need to go home.
He out there yelling brokey or dunking on the nigga.
I hope he's not doing that, but I get the sentiment of what you're saying.
Yeah, Brian be doing that. Go ahead and get up there with Shaq and Chuck and them, man. Get on that commentating shit, man.
Yeah, he just started this whole little podcast now. What was we just at in this conversation?
We were talking about how hip hop was influenced by Asians.
No, negative.
Said Wu-Tang.
Nigga said one group.
There's like hip hop has some Asian influences. I think that's how a person would frame it accurately.
No, it was one group. I think what G said was more accurate. I don't think hip hop has no Asian influence, bro.
Even got
my point was that hip hop samples have been from all, like hip hop from the early stages. They didn't just sample black music; they sample all types of music. It wasn't just.
I think both cultures have influences from each other, though. Like I don't think.
Hold on.
Of course.
But hold on though. If turntables came from Asia,
look at like K-pop and all them doing the breakdance. They're influenced by Black culture, definitely. But there's a lot of influences from like it's a borrowed thing. It's not just a one of one. Like there's a lot from Wu-Tang to like we love Chinese food. It's a lot of things where
we
Black
love
people
Chinese food.
We do. Niggas love I bet y'all go.
Nigga, like I don't know, bro. I think we need to have more.
Has to be
like,
chicken ass niggas, man.
Bro, other groups of people claim stuff that isn't even theirs. Ours, it seems like we look for a reason to give someone else some sort of credit, and I think that's
bro. I just said it was a dual thing. We've influenced their culture, and like I think it's a shared. Cultural
that shared part is a part. Yes, we did influence them, but I don't think they influence us. Like ain't nobody in the world when they're dressing like the hip hop style, they're not thinking we're dressing like the influence of Asian. No, they're dressing like us.
When they see Wu-Tang and hear
so
like
Kanye and Pharrell, and they go over there and they talk about getting Japanese denim, and they start getting money, and they go over there and like all the anime stuff that people look at and like the Lupes, and they bring all that anime.
Oh, it's definitely niggas from Memphis that love Dragon Ball Z and shit for sure.
Like they haven't influenced us at all.
Yeah,
like
I'm not definitely influenced niggas in Memphis. That's the fact, Johnny B.
I'm not saying we get everything, but I know too many niggas that love anime.
Oh, it's a lot of anime niggas, Johnny P.
I know
a lot of anime niggas.
Niggas with anime tattoos and shit.
Oh, of course, I don't disagree with that.
Tattooed on them and shit.
Niggas be quoting anime. All that shit.
I don't think watching anime means
on the girls who had a Chinese tattoo. You got Asia doll, like even
China doll. China doll is also one.
Yeah, man.
Women are influenced by like
some FBA girls.
I'm not saying that it's a one of one, but I'm saying there is mutual influence from both cultures, and it's obvious to see.
Niggas don't even know they eating oodles and noodles where it come from.
Yeah, ramen noodles is a staple.
Niggas don't even know where it originated.
So you think we were influenced by Asians and when our cultural creations like hip hop and blues? What about blues? You think that wasn't influenced by? That was only influenced by.
I just gave you a list of stuff that I said was influenced by it, and now you're gonna go away.
But you said you're talking about anime. I'm talking about our cultural creations, not like whether we eat Chinese food or not. Or watch anime. I'm talking about
a lot of our culture, a lot of hip hop.
Niggas was taking penitentiary chances for Pokemon cards back in the day.
A lot of our
for real
is inspired by a lot of our famous fashion designers are inspired by Japanese fashion. So to say that we're not inspired or they haven't influenced us in any way, I think that's.
Yeah, about to say, what is it? Graduation and is it graduation where the whole art is from there?
The fun things I know a bunch of.
Oh yeah, the graduation artwork is definitely
by it. I
feel like he sampled multiple Asian.
They're influenced by us too.
No.
It's a mutual thing. It's not.
I don't think, but at the same time, they don't give us the credit we deserve. You agree with that, right? A lot of times, Black Americans.
I'm not talking about credit.
I don't know if Asians don't give us credit for when they wear dreads and break dance and all that shit.
I'm just saying it's a distinct influence I can see. And
Bruce Leroy.
I'm talking about Latinos, for example, when they come on and they say, we created hip hop with you 50-50. Like,
what about The Last Dragon?
Listen.
So that's the
childhood favorite movie. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah, that was a classic. It didn't age well, but that bitch is a classic.
It aged perfectly. I could watch that to this day.
I can too.
And still quote every single line.
The barge on the soundtrack, it's classics.
Yeah.
All through and through.
The Trey, like you got to admit, there's some so Black people have not been influenced by anybody.
I think most of the stuff we do is influenced by our situation in America. Like I think
white people,
like I think soul music came from the soul. We weren't influenced by nobody. And I think soul music is the foundation for our future music creations, going from funk on down to hip hop and R&B and gospel. I think our gospel singers, that's not replicated in the world. We weren't influenced by nobody. We were influenced by our soul and our spirit coming from our struggle in America. That's an original creation.
Giving credit and saying somebody influenced you are two different things.
Didn't nobody influence our soul music and our gospel music? The only thing that Did nobody influence our soul in gospel music? We didn't look
What
at
about
white
someone
people.
about like Wu-Tang Clan and the Lupe Fiascos and all these rappers? Well, who like when they clearly are getting their influence from Japanese culture.
I
And
think,
samples.
but
Yeah.
what if you?
So but how can you say
I
it don't
think-
have an influence though? I get it, like it didn't create it, but you to say it don't have an influence, there's clearly an influence.
Yeah, like you gonna tell me that sample that
Niggas used to love Speed
Swiss
Racer back
beats
in
and
the
Rough
day
Riders,
and
all them
shit,
damn
Dope
Asian
Guys
sounds, Eve, all that shit. Them
Oh,
niggas
then
was
they
stealing
did
all
have a
type of
whole
Asian
little run.
sounds.
I almost kind of
Tell
forgot
me
about
what you want from me. All that shit is Asian, nigga. They done took all the Asian sounds and flipped that shit. They had a whole run. The fucking what was
it.
that
Had a
shit?
song in it. I forgot about that.
Hey, what was
That's
that?
the
Them
beautiful
niggas
thing
is
about
doing
hip-hop
Asian
is so,
movies
like,
and
hip-hop
shit.
samples
Yeah, man. Them, what was that shit with Romeo Must Die and shit, man? Nigga, please, man. Rush Hour, all that shit, man. Niggas was Asianing it up.
Romeo Must Die. Come on.
Come on, man.
So, I'm saying an influence. I ain't talking about orientation. Trey acting like there's no
Origination, yeah.
But
You said
Fat Boy said, but
you said orientation. That's a different thing. But
that's how your Vet Cornell shit.
but yeah, no, that's the point that we keep trying to get to Trey, is that niggas is talking about influence, not origination.
But I think this difference, like I think the hardware might be our creation, but we might have different software and everything like that. But that don't affect, like we're just expressing our creation in different ways. That the way we express it might have some like influence by other cultures, but what we're doing in the first place, the foundation of that is our intellectual property alone. That we don't give no credit for influence to nobody except us. Our influence is from the soul.
Rap. Nobody's saying Latino people created hip hop. We're not saying they created
some
music.
are saying that Latino people created hip hop.
I'm
Some
talking
people
about,
are saying that
right here tonight. That's not
some
what
are saying
we're saying.
Caribbeans created too.
That's not what we're saying. That's not. I mean, I guess there's some idiots saying it, but like,
oh damn,
that's
Black, damn, that's crazy. Because A Black, one of the people that said a Jamaican created hip hop. Didn't you say that, A Black?
Man, I said
mischaracterizing the statement.
Yeah, I asked him a question, bro, for you to clarify.
I said
I didn't tell him
the
what he
person
said.
they call the father of hip hop, who is Kool Herc, is Jamaican, who started his parties, his speaker box parties in Jamaica, who a lot of Caribbean influence and Caribbean DJs were the origins of hip hop, and they came to New York in the Bronx and evolved the culture. But they had a Caribbean influence because New York is a melting pot of Caribbeans, of Puerto Ricans, of Black people, of immigrants.
So that's the origination.
It's not the origination, it's the inspiration. That's the thing about hip hop. Hip hop is a melting pot, and hip hop wasn't just rap, it was graffiti too, and there was a lot of different ethnicities.
Hip hop is fashion,
and by definition, hip hop is rooted in sampling.
When you look at when you look at b-boys, some of the most popular b-boys were Puerto Rican. You know, like it was a mixture of cultures. That's what made hip hop dope. Like, so it is black, but it had a lot of influence from a lot of different places.
Yeah, you keep almost trying to use synonymously influence and origination, in which nobody's arguing originate. Everybody's arguing influence.
So A Black, you're saying hip hop was originated by foundational Black Americans.
Would you say Kool Herc is a foundational Black American? Would you say African Bambaataa is a foundational Black American?
I don't know him, but Kool Herc, no.
Okay, so
you don't know who African Bambaataa is?
I don't know his background.
These are people they call the fathers of hip hop, the actual cultures, the 5 elements. Now it evolved.
So A Black, you are saying that it originated in the Caribbean, then.
No, it didn't originate in the Caribbean. No, but
in the Bronx. Kool Herc is from the Caribbean, but it originated in the Bronx, New York.
Now you can't take away who Kool Herc is, though. That'd be a weird thing to do, also.
But we were rapping before Kool Herc, and then Kool Herc didn't invent sampling either. So he might have been there while it was being originated, but the origination of hip hop music comes from foundational Black American elements.
But that's the thing, like that's what hip hop whole thing is innovation. Like you yourself said, turntables came from an Asian inventor from Panasonic, but they wasn't scratching it. They wasn't doing what we was doing when we got our hands on it. Like we take the things and we innovate it. We took the
Grandmaster Flash
Yeah, I'm about
originated
to
the
say.
technique.
I feel like that's
Grandmaster
really
Flash, but I think he might not be FBI. I think he's from Grenada or Grenada, one of them Caribbean joints. But then you got, you know, Fresh Prince, DJ Jazzy Jeff.
Jess, yeah.
He originated some techniques. Like there are a few niggas who like take the tool and create innovative techniques that then go on to define how the shit is used moving forward. You feel what I'm saying?
We didn't invent the speaker, but we took the speakers and stacked them on each other and went in the wires and connected them shits to make more sound. Like hip hop is innovation. Like so, we took bits and pieces from different things and created this new genre.
So, is there anything that you would say foundational Black Americans originated with no influence from anybody else?
Any specific invention by
Just in general, yeah. Is there anything that you would say foundational Black Americans created on their own? You're not saying nothing came from Africa. I'm saying nothing.
There's no idea is original under the
peanut
sun.
butter?
We got plenty of inventions and
Peanut
stuff.
butter.
You got the
Rich.
stoplight, you got the
We invented the rich, Trey.
So, what about cultivating things that are only indigenous to America? We don't have to give Africa any influence for that, right? Because they don't even have the plant in Africa, right? Or do we have to credit like we learned based on how we learned how to cultivate plants in Africa? We brought that over to America, so therefore, the way we cultivate stuff that's indigenous to America, you got to credit Africa for that
You act
too.
like we ain't saying we Black people haven't invented nothing. We're not. We ain't
That's what it sounds like.
Nobody said
Nothing on our own.
Nobody.
What did we create on our own? Cornbread.
There's a lot of things you can create on your own, but still have influence by somebody else.
I think cornbread was the Mexicans.
Oh damn!
Chill.
So is there anything that foundational Black Americans created no influence from nobody?
I mean, you the FBA man. You tell us. We just talking about.
I told you some things. Y'all giving credit. I said hip hop.
Okay,
for one thing. I said Plump Juice.
We ain't take that credit away. We said influence.
Yeah, we didn't take it away, but we saying he got influence from the Caribbean that you
No,
can't
I'm saying
deny.
what did we create with on our own with no influence from nobody?
Fellas. Really
We
quickly,
learn how to season them chitlins.
we're starting to get a crowd in the back. So yeah, I don't feel like that was a pause.
Just say backstage, dog.
Backstage, we starting to get a crowd backstage. So with that said,
join the Discord.
I will.
Niggas.
Yeah, for sure. Join the Discord if you want to jump the line. Join the Discord. It makes it kind of simple and easy. But first up, talk to us.
What's going on? Yo,
What's up,
Look, hip hop. What's up, y'all? Look, hip hop was started. You know, I'm sorry to say it, but it wasn't just black people when hip hop started. It was black, white, and Hispanic people, and it's just the truth. But to put it out there, you know, who heard he was Caribbean, right? And it started from them with their parties, with them having their parties and the way they did the parties, the block parties and stuff like that, and whatever, you know.
Hey,
it wasn't just.
Hey, real quick, there's two things. One, your audio is kind of like scratchy, so it's a little tough to hear you. Two, let the audience know where you're from to kind of give some perspective on what you're saying.
I'm from North New Jersey, which is, you know what I'm saying, it's
and so you was around during this time.
I remember when the first Rapper's Delight came on the radio in '79, and it blew the mind of people. A lot of people had never heard rap before, and never really heard of it as far as in it being like that. You know, I can remember all the way to back then. And also when it comes down to you said it was Cooler, and then y'all said Grandmaster Flash. Grandmaster Flash invented the crossfader.
Yeah.
He went to Radio Shack and he put a tool where he could also hear one turntable while the other turntable was playing, and also kind of like far as system where it could, blend it together a little bit better and things like that. And I heard someone once say about him, they were saying that they wish they go back in time because he would be a millionaire. That man would be dead because he's a junkie. That's why sometimes it's not good for God to give you money and give you the fame that you need at that time because he was a junkie. And he's not now, but I'm just giving you a little backstory on him. But anyway, yeah, hip hop wasn't just started from
Shout out Grandmaster Flash. Hey, do me a favor. We appreciate it. We gonna keep you up when you call back in, but leave out and call back in. There's something with your audio that's kind of messed up.
Okay, no problem. No problem.
All right.
Hey, love you.
Peace, y'all. Love y'all too, man.
Kamu, talk to us, brother.
Hey, how's it, fellas?
What's going on?
Big dog?
Well, man. Yo, look, there was this other elder. I'm not particularly sure where he was from, but you can check on YouTube. So he asked Kendrick where hip hop originated from, and Kendrick was like, the Bronx, and the elder was like, nah, it came from Africa, So we have this practice that we do for kings and queens here at home, especially South Africa. They are called imbongi. So what they do is they give thanks to the royal priesthood. In modern day, they do that to the president, the premier, and the mayor. They do that every time there's a speech or a parliamentary addressing. They call Imbongi, and Imbongi would come and invent some dope shit and praise whoever's gonna be leading the speech or whatever. I mean, we still have kings and queens. Also, when they address their people before they come on stage, we bring the Imbongi.
Was it like rhythmic? Was it rhythmic spoken word style?
I mean, they rap, bro. They rap.
Okay.
But
I'm not familiar with it.
What does that mean to you, Kamu? What does, like, if you, in simple term, what does it mean to rap in your opinion?
Well,
and if you don't mind, you could bust a freestyle if you want.
Well, no. Let's no. To rap is to look at the environment and take.
No, I can give us 8.
Yeah, about 8. You got 4 at least, right?
I got 4 what?
Bars.
No, man, I cannot rap, bro.
Man, you the originator. It came from where you came from, right? Like it came from South Africa, bro. Like, come on, you can't give us the originator can't give us 4 bars.
No, relax, bro. I cannot rap. I mean, I can.
All right, my bad. We detracted from your point. Keep going.
Yeah. So, no, man. Rap means like looking at the environment and whatever's happening around you and putting that into a rhythm and spitting it out, bro. So Imbongi,
do they use rhyme? Do they use rhyme in over there? Like, do they rhyme the words?
Yeah, sure. I mean, let me refer you to one. Look at, just go on Google and say, 2020. What year is this now? 2025. Sona, Sona, Imbongi. You will see that.
Nigga, spell that too.
How the woman. Okay. It's 2025. Sona.
And what's the other thing you said?
IMBONGI.
Mbagi Duke.
Mbongi, and then just say Cyril.
Niggas ignorant, bro. Niggas
I just said when the shit pop up, when I typed it in, it said Mbagi Duke. But I'm looking at it. But hey, Kamu, this is 2025. What about like in 1885?
You saying that you put some claims out. You said originate. I ain't here to
I'm coming
co-sign
to that,
that.
bro. Look, those people have been doing that for centuries, bro. I'm just saying that
Okay.
I'm just referring you to it now because they're doing it now in modern day times.
Okay,
They're doing
you're
it for
showing the
centuries.
current version of ancient tradition.
Yeah, they've been doing that for centuries. And how old is hip hop? Hip hop is only like 150 years old, not even 200 years old. You know what I mean? So to
Well, I
say
don't think
that,
100.
I don't think-
It's not even 100. They just did the 50-year anniversary, right? The niggas just did the 50
we appreciate it. Though. You put respect on it. You put respect on it. I like.
well,
Niggas ain't even been free that long, Kama. We gotta slow down, nigga. Goddamn.
I was rapping.
Niggas ain't even been free that long. Damn.
Fuck master.
no, man, no,
Yeah.
no. It's not. No, hip hop is not.
Hey, come on, we gonna keep you up. I
got.
got somebody else in the backstage. Yeah, just stay up. Shout out. The name is Old Man. I think this might be our first time engaging with you. What's going on, brother?
What's up? I'm from Cali.
What's going on?
What up? What up? What up?
What's up? I'm just trying to figure out how you deal with all these antagonists, Trey. This is crazy, man. Everything you say, they go against. It don't matter what you say, they just go against it.
I don't know, bro. They told me I'm playing victim when I call it a 4v1, bro. But I mean, it is what it is. I think other people kind of see it, but I don't know, man. But hey, to the rest of the panel, I don't know this guy, bro. But he seemed to see what I'm talking about all the time. Y'all say I'm crying, so this is just an example of it's not just me. I ain't paid this man to call in and say that shit. So it's not coming.
Put Trey center stage. I mean, because is this just for entertainment, or do y'all seriously believe your takes that you said tonight? Because this stuff about hip hop and it originated in Africa and all this, black people weren't here
Who said that it originated in Africa?
Nobody said
Outside of Camus.
Trying to say
Yeah, Camus. He's a call, and he's from South Africa also.
Oh, he's a comedian. I got it.
No, he's from South Africa. That's just his perspective. I think he's a piano player or a musician. I guess that's the best way to put it.
My take on the Kool Herc thing is that he's more of, to me, because if we talking about music, is a turntable an instrument or is it just a microphone, right? So to me, Kool Herc would be like the first mouthpiece of hip hop or something like that. He wouldn't be like a creator of hip hop because we're talking about music, we're talking about rhythm, we're talking about lyrics. So
DJing doesn't count as a part of hip hop.
It's just an element. So hip hop incorporates everything, right? So it's
right. I think it's 5 elements
of hip hop. Yeah,
right. But then that makes you a part of it, correct?
No, 100%. He's a part of it. There's no denying that.
So I don't think that anybody was making a statement that he solely originated hip hop.
Not solely, but he was part of the. You're saying he was part of the origination.
Yeah, it sounds like Old Man is making this. He's agreeing with that.
Part of the origination.
Like he's a part of an element of hip hop. Yes.
Of the origination. I'm only honing on that word.
Yes. He threw the first hip hop party. He was, if not the first, a first DJ for hip hop. Documentation wise, he would be the first DJ.
Even if it was
that's a part of hip hop. I'm not saying that
even if he was just a spokesperson, if he didn't contribute to any,
if he was a spokesperson, he wasn't like he was doing the thing. You know, that's
the DJ just said, though.
You understand that the DJ came before the rapper.
He literally got the hip hop anthem. Like
hip hop was the DJ sport originally.
Right.
It was not a rapper
it's not like
at all. It was the DJ getting all the pussy.
And I'm cool to say we can break it down to just like an element, and that's cool. I think that's also a fair representation because of hip hop has 5 elements in which I think all are important when we go into the cultural aspect of it. And
even
like
the b-boys and the graffiti artists had more shine early on than like rappers and lyricists. Like that shit really wasn't like that until Rakim.
Oh, hold up. So do
you think
I didn't be early Rakim, but I get
in terms of like spitting, you know what I'm saying?
When you get into
he evolved the game for sure.
Graffiti like that, that's more of culture. If we just talk about music, we got to stick to music. So when you say hip hop culture, yeah, you can tie in the graffiti and all that other stuff.
We could just go music here, hip hop, DJ.
Okay. So like he said earlier, what's that?
Trey?
The King pod or whatever. If hip hop's a sample genre, that means they're sampling from something. That means hip hop is not a creator. The DJ is not a creator because he's sampling the music. The music is what hip hop is. So wherever he's sampling that from, those are really the creators.
But they sample from all.
Yeah, but then you would also give credit to Asians. You would give it to Africans. Because they did break beats not only from just America.
There's
Like they
disco stuff though, right? They would play the break.
It was a litany of it. There's a bunch of Afro funk break beats that they use. And you can go to like the little Afro funk clubs right now, and they still play the exact same break beats. This isn't. That was the only version.
This is what I'm trying to get to. You don't even need a turntable. Hip hop was before turntable ever existed, right? All you need is somebody's vocals, whether they're doing beatboxing or they're spitting rhymes. That's hip hop. So you don't even need it.
It's not like historically accurate though. Like if we're talking about hip hop, you're talking about rapping. Are you specifying rapping? Because now you're talking about rapping.
Because we're talking about music, right? And if rapping is hip hop is rapping.
Rapping is a part of hip hop. I think that everybody here spoke specifically about hip hop.
Rapping is a skill that evolved from emceeing. Emceeing was the element, rapping developed later as a skill of emceeing. But that's like saying just because you sing opera, you R&B just because you sing. Like hip hop crafted this culture, this genre through certain elements and through certain ways of executing these elements.
So musically, how would you describe hip hop then?
Musically, hip hop is one element of hip hop.
That doesn't make sense.
Which is DJing and then emceeing and then graffiti and then
no, that's cultural stuff. That's not music.
Hip hop is based off the sample, bro.
You just asked what hip hop was.
Sampling.
No, answer musically. He just said it to be fair. He said music, focusing on music.
It's based off the DJ. The DJ was one of the first elements, and they DJ based on sampling. Soul, disco, turntables.
Right, and like what we look at culturally as hip hop today is way different than what was, especially when all of the 5 elements was like prevalent. Like now, when we say hip hop, we're only specifying it directly to like a rapper rapping.
Can you have hip hop without rap? Can you have hip hop without rap?
Hip hop existed before rap.
Yes.
So the answer would be yes.
What?
Oh, did it?
Are you serious? People were rapping in the blues in all sorts of genres. What are you talking about?
Again, understand what you just asked. You said, can you have hip hop without rap?
Can you have hip hop without rap?
Oh man. I'm just asking this question because you act as though what I said was crazy. So the origins of hip hop started with rappers. Yes or no?
Yeah. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
It had nothing to do with rappers.
It was
there wasn't a rapper at the first official hip hop party that everybody called.
All these people rap. Do you know rapping?
No. Muhammad Ali wasn't considered a hip hop artist. That doesn't make any sense. So again, you're doing the thing where like you're using rap as the thing that you're tagging along to. We're talking about hip hop. So again, rapping is an element. Rapping is an element of hip hop. So you keep trying to play like the semantic game. So you're using an element of hip hop, which is rapping, right? MCing. That's really what it is. MCing. We're talking about hip hop, the entire art form of hip hop. Like this isn't like that. Hip hop existed before rapping was a thing, especially as we know it now, as in rapping on the beat, as an MC.
How did hip hop exist before rapping? Please tell me.
With the DJ and sampling and mixing and b-boying and graffiti. I think like MCing might have been the last of the elements that came along.
You realize that sampling is not a hip hop thing. People have been sampling songs forever. Have you heard of covers? Have you heard of what are you talking about?
That is not the whole point. Like hip hop pull from a
covers
lot of things.
Covers isn't sampling. That's like a covering.
Yeah, I know, but you get what I'm saying. There's a whole bunch of different ways to manipulate music, and you can't call that hip hop just because you manipulated the music.
No, but,
All right, so now you're saying
what made
sampling
hip hop unique. That is the essence of what made hip hop unique and what made
So
hip
if
hop
it's a
so
sample
underground.
genre, what are they
That was part
sampling?
of the shit. Was like, yo, what sample is that?
No,
Yo, what
nobody
sample is that?
Nobody was scratching.
Digging through the
and
crates,
and
looking
looping
for that
beats.
break. Like that was like the essence of every nigga making beats and everything was looking for those records where you could like, yo, nobody's gonna have this. The essence of hip hop was who's gonna have the best samples.
So help me understand, is the DJ the foundation of hip hop?
Early?
Just answered the question how I presented
Yes,
it.
early, yes.
What does early mean? Why do you have
like
to say
when it started?
Because
The
today
foundation.
I would say no. Today I would say no. But the origins, the DJ was the star. That was the first superstar in hip hop. It was the DJ.
So wouldn't DJ be considered a live performer? And actually, to create the song or a hip hop song, you would need the producer. You would need somebody to remix, the person who actually sampled it, and then he put it on vinyl for the DJ to play.
So what you're talking about is
The creation of music.
making music, making songs. But hip hop existed before rappers started making songs
So how did hip hop existed before rappers started making songs?
because it was a culture.
It wasn't a culture, it evolved into a culture.
I can't.
I don't even know how to respond to that. I don't even know how to.
You're not proving me wrong. Just because you're in denial don't mean.
I said it was a culture.
No,
You said it wasn't a culture.
What is culture then?
So
You guys
what
don't
was
even
it? What was
understand
it before?
definition.
So what was it before it evolved into the culture? What was it?
What was what?
The thing we talking about.
Are we talking about hip hop as a culture, or are we talking about hip hop as music?
You said hip hop was not a culture; it evolved into a culture. So what was it before it evolved into a culture?
So if you take one element, graffiti, it was just people spray painting on the wall.
So was graffiti, but who was calling graffiti hip hop?
Nobody was calling graffiti hip hop before all the elements came together, and then people started giving it a title of hip hop. You get what I'm saying?
So it was a culture.
No, it wasn't a culture. It's just a cult. How can you say someone's graffitiing? Oh, that's culture. That's not culture.
Because
what do you define as culture? I don't even. You're making a lot.
All you got to do is pull up the definition of culture, and then you can prove wrong or right.
It's the culture. It's happening in one spot. It's happening in New York. All of these things are developing at the same time. You got the graffiti artists, you got the DJ, you got the MC.
The DJ was the MC.
I got
the DJ was the star,
right?
There
you go. DJ was the MC as well. The DJ and the DJ was the one that came across there, and he was the one that throw your hands in the air and all that stuff. Yeah. The DJ did all that. But then he had his partner who knew how to say a couple of raps, so he put it together. But the DJ controlled the whole room. And when it comes down to someone saying, you had to make the music and all this, the DJ was always before the rapper, because that's why you always had DJ so-and-so and then the MC secondary, because the DJ was the famous person. The rapper was just part of his entourage.
The rapper was like a hype man at first, and then
that's all it was.
Yeah,
that's all it was.
So the disagreement is, what was the DJ playing?
Records.
The DJ was playing records. Any record.
Great. So if the
records,
disco. So if the record he was playing wasn't considered hip hop, then what? This is what I'm getting to, the music. If he's playing music that's not considered hip hop.
Hey, Unc from Jersey,
Get to it. What are you saying? What are you saying? I'm just saying, what are you saying? Because you're not making sense. You're starting to sound like Trey.
Because you guys are conflicting culture of how hip hop stands now with music creation. I'm focused on the creation of music, right?
Right. But old man, you're saying, what was the DJs playing? What music was you playing? You understand that?
Before
hip hop music now didn't exist.
Before hip hop was a music genre, it was a culture.
Right. Like even today, most hip hop beats are based off of a sample.
Hip hop music derives from hip hop culture, not vice versa.
This is what I'm getting from y'all. You correct me if I'm wrong. You're basically saying hip hop is really not a genre, it's a culture over everything.
It is a culture. It is a culture. It's a lifestyle.
But it's really not a musical genre, is what you're telling me.
No, like nothing has to do with zero sum. There's both.
No,
Both
rap
happen.
is a musical genre. Hip hop has nothing to do with musical genre.
Thank you.
Rap
That's what I was
is part
saying.
of hip hop, and rap was turned into the hip hop by white people. It
And
had
that's what-
nothing to do with that.
And
It
that's
had
what I was
nothing to
saying.
do.
Rap
It was
is
just
the
one
musical
element.
genre. That's been my argument the whole time. Rap is the musical genre.
But we're talking about hip hop. Nobody said the word rap though. We've
Rap
only
is not
talked about
hip hop. Rap is part of hip hop.
right. Like, oh man, we've not like we've only spoke about hip hop.
So, like I said,
Hey Johnny,
hip-hop
don't hold
is
your
not
head
a
too bad, brother. 4-point lead, 2 minutes left. It's all right. My bad, old man.
What you heard is what you heard. What I said is what I said, and I said rap is actually the genre, is the musical genre, and hip hop isn't. And then he just said exactly what I said in a different manner.
Rap is a part of hip hop genre.
Yep.
Rap is the musical part of hip hop genre,
Yep.
extending from the DJing part of hip hop genre. But the DJing part preceded rap. The DJ was the original rapper. That's the way it started out. The
Yep, that's
DJ
what
was
I said.
DJ and the rapper. But
I agree with all this.
you also said that how can it be that it's a musical genre when you're taking music from other things? It's the whole part of the way they made the music and mixed the music. They took it and made it sound different. They took it just break beats or just just different things, different sounds, and put it together. They sampled different sounds and things of that nature. That's what made it different. That's what made it different. Was that right there? And it had nothing to do with the rapping back then. It was just about the DJ. And it was about how he would take it and take this certain part of the record that was like that, you know what I'm saying? And
It was the breakbeat.
He playing it over and over, the breakbeat, yes, and playing it over and over, and he would make a whole new song out of that right there. So that right there is actually someone doing something with music.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. So what you're saying to me, and I agree with that, you're saying the DJ is actually a musician.
He is.
Okay, good.
He is. He is a musician.
Yeah.
He is a musician. The DJ is a musician. He it's just that the turntable is his instrument. The turntable is the DJ's instrument. You understand what I'm saying? Because listen, would you not say scratching is a sound? Scratching is a sound, right? So if he's making a sound with the record, then he's using it. He's using it as an instrument. When he scratched the record, that's a sound that can't be done with anything except that record back then. Now they can do it now. But you understand what I'm saying?
I don't know how to pronounce your name, but I agree. The musician is the DJ, and the vocalist or singer, whatever you want to call it, MC, and the rapper was the rapper. That's what makes it a genre. Those two combined elements.
Yes, that's it right there.
I dig it. I like some common ground. Shout out Old Head. Feel free. We have a Discord. I think FBA Trey. He's looking to find some like-minded people to hop into the chat with us. Saying all that to say, to close the show, I do have 2 comments. One, make sure that you like, comment, subscribe to the Discord. There's super chats available. There is an after show or an after show after this. If any of the panelists want to stick around, but as well, Johnny, you were saying Lakers and how many?
Damn, why you do that, bro?
Defense wins championships.
Damn.
Defense wins championships.
Wolves in 5. Shout out to the kids called it belt to ass boys. They put belt to ass. Sent good Brian Brown on his way. It's all right, man. But with that said, this has been Unpacked. At the top, you see G-ish Pod. Y'all see the Cash App, GthaKing, FBA Trey, David Walker, CassiusTrey is the Cash App. Below him, A Black is
y'all read Fat Boy.
A Black TV is the Cash App. Johnny J-Rock 989 is the Cash App. Kamu, South Africa's favorite. An introduction to old man. We appreciate the banter. and Unc for sure. With that said, this has been Unpacked. This has been a fun conversation. And like that, we out. Peace.
There you go.
So you know